Chapter 304, Protection, 6. Join the Discord for chapter updates and important news. Chapter 304, Protection, 6. Kickaging. A pitch-black claw tears through the air. I roll backward swiftly, evading Kong Minhee's attack. Shukong. In an instant, her attack brushes past where I had been, slicing through the terrain of the cold Een Marsh. A chilling blue aura rises visibly where her attack passes. Damn it, if it hits, I die? I can feel that clearly. Even using the formless sword and the Mad Lord's circuits with this body only brings me to the heavenly being stage. There's no way I can block someone at the 4-axis stage. Did she realize that I'm Seo Eunhyun? It doesn't seem like that. I glance at her intent. The dark crimson intent of hatred is deeply submerged. If she knew I came as a clone, anger would have flared up rather than hatred. That means only one thing. Did she mistake me for someone else? That is the only possibility. I hurriedly retreat and shout at Kong Minhee. Grand Elder, why are you doing this? Could it be a misunderstanding? Kong Minhee sneers. It can't be a misunderstanding. That darkness, this sense of déjà vu, and those familiar actions. You are that being. What do you mean by that being? Well, did you ever have a name? I don't really know. I always called you the Shadow. Sometimes you mimicked my mother, sometimes my father, sometimes a friend, and sometimes a complete stranger. Isn't that your identity? This time too, you're mimicking someone I don't know. Damn it. It's clear. She's mistaken me for someone else, not Seo Eunhyun. Someone who bears a darkness as thick as the form of death I wield. She's smart, but she sometimes trusts her intellect too much and jumps to strange conclusions. That's Kong Minhee's flaw. Hence, a year and a half before we arrived at Ascension Path, we fought because of that, and she ended up pushing a project that caused considerable losses for the company. Well, thanks to that, I ended up memorizing the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, so it wasn't entirely a loss. Anyway, occasionally, she would make mistakes by relying too heavily on her genius. This seems to be one of those times. Judging by her state, she won't listen even if I explain. Quag. The slash from her attack flies over cold Een Marsh's horizon, exploding in a burst of blue light that dyes the sky. Ghostly energy in the cold freezes my entire body. My movements begin to slow. Kong Minhee approaches me for close combat, extending her claws to stab my right arm. At the same time, she shortens the length of her claws, grabs my collar with her right arm, and yanks me towards her. This is leg sweep. She seems to grasp the flow of force, and I begin to fall under her force. Kong Minhee was capable of everything. Work, exercise, foreign languages, you name it. She was a jack of all trades, excluding interpersonal relationships and morality. One of the famous anecdotes about Kong Minhee was this. When John Myung-hoon was a deputy, he once visited Oh Hyeseo's apartment where she was hosting a small party with female colleagues. He tried to subtly sexually harass Kong Minhee while flirting with her, and the story goes that Kong Minhee immediately grabbed John Myung-hoon and threw him to the ground. After that, John Myung-hoon ended up with a broken ankle and was prescribed 6 weeks of recovery. There was a time when that guy hobbled around on crutches and couldn't even glance in Kong Minhee's direction, making it an undeniable incident. Oh Hyeseo told me about this, I think. According to Oh Hyeseo's testimony at the time, after breaking John Myung-hoon's ankle, Kong Minhee casually smoked a cigarette while hailing a taxi to send him to the hospital. John Myung-hoon, embarrassed, claimed he needed crutches because of a car accident, but thanks to Oh Hyeseo, everyone in the department knew the real story. Kim Young-hoon and Oh Hyun-suk considered reporting it, but since neither side said much, the incident was quietly swept under the rug. As expected, she's strong. Kong Minhee is strong. Before coming to Ascension Path, although couldn't use internal energy as a mortal, she already possessed the skills of a first-rate martial artist. I twist my body in midair, plant my feet into the ground, and then propel myself towards Kong Minhee with a double palm strike. As the blood demon suppressing sea light activates, a vast sea of blood begins to form between my double palms and her, allowing me to break away from her. And then, I realize something. Kong Minhee, TSS. A thread of her intent aims for my neck. I break into a cold sweat, hastily evading the following strike of her attack. At some point, she has reached the peak through her own efforts using the judo she learned back on Earth and her combat experiences involving her ghost claws. Unlike Kim Yun, who received my help through tribulating heavens beyond the path, or Oh Hyun-suk, who has the unique holy body and trained while being beaten into a meatball by Azure Tiger Saint, or Kim Young-hoon, who has a talent specialized in martial arts. She reached the pinnacle realm purely through her own efforts and aptitude. Indeed, a genius. This is driving me crazy. I click my tongue internally, focusing my consciousness on Seo Lee. An immense situation is unfolding on Seo Lee's side, and shocking revelations are pouring out in front of me. Are you saying you were engaged to Han Won? Yes. We were engaged for mutual benefit rather than affection. Although Han 1 has withered since, he was quite handsome when he was younger, so I didn't mind. He also seemed to have considerable affection for me. Yunwei continues her story. At first, it was more friendship than affection. Or rather, we realized we shared a comrade's bond after capturing the Black Dragon King. Our compatibility was quite good. If our relationship had continued, our comradeship might have developed into romantic feelings. Until Han 1 fell in love with another woman. A bitter expression crosses her face. Han 1 told me he fell in love with another woman from the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect and apologized. I was a bit disappointed but accepted it. After all, a marriage of affection would bring more benefits to the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect than a political one, so I was willing to break off the engagement. And I wanted to see who this bold disciple was that stole his heart. In front of me is the shocking past of Han 1 and Yunwei. On the other side, the relentless chase between Kong Min-hee and Xiao Li. I quickly analyzed the situation, trying to understand who Kong Min-hee mistook Xiao Li for. Strangely, my thoughts become unusually clearer, and I feel like I can see the web of relationships among people. How can I twist these relationships to gain the most benefit? Such thoughts and plans seem to pour out endlessly. A strange feeling. I wonder if I always possessed this talent. I examine this web of relationships and begin to trace back the shadow figure Kong Min-hee kept mentioning. Then, while backtracking through this network, I feel something strange. The person she calls the shadow is something that has been with Kong Min-hee since Earth. That means it's one of the Enders. But the characteristics she described match Xiao Eunhyun. Yet, Xiao Eunhyun is different from the shadow. What is this? Who exactly is the shadow? I instruct Xiao Li to ask Kong Min-hee a few questions. Following my command, Xiao Li delivers the lines I had written on the spot to Kong Min-hee. Hoo, colleague Kong. Why are you doing this? Wasn't it just a joke? I guess you disliked the prank I pulled when we first joined the company. You really are that bastard. It wasn't just the company. Throughout my entire life. If it weren't for you, by now, I would have gotten along well with that person. Kong Min-hee transforms into a 8-foot ghost and attacks me even more ferociously. Judging by Kong Min-hee's reaction, it's someone who influenced her even before the company. Kong Min-hee lost her father, so her mother? No, I once met her mother, and she wasn't the type to say such things. In that case, I quickly run through my thoughts and reach a conclusion. Kong Min-hee has some kind of mental illness that even I wasn't aware of. Due to this mental illness, she constantly sees hallucinations and tries to explain her misfortunes through them. She's now mistaking Xiao Li for her hallucination. Until now, I thought I was the one who needed to be treated. Looking back, it seems like an overreaction, but there must have been a reason for my judgment. However, now it appears that the one needing treatment is not me, but Kong Min-hee. Then, I am startled by Yunwei's next words. The name of the disciple loved by Han 1 from the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect was Cheon Ra, Heavenly Net. There is no female disciple with the name Cheon Ra in our Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. I even checked among male disciples who had learned gender transformation methods, but there was no one. I even contacted the main sect in the head realm at that time. However, there was no such person in the head realm either. Han 1 had developed a mental illness, creating and loving a non-existent woman. The shocking revealed truth leaves me dumbfounded. So, because of a mental illness, he fell in love with a non-existent woman from the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, and due to this mental illness, he tried to kill me and John Myung-hoon, claiming we failed to protect the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. For a moment, I feel a surge of irritation towards Han 1, but then I sense something strange. A cultivator at the integration stage is not simply a powerful monster. Having a vast and expanded consciousness means perceiving, understanding, and growing mentally just as much. Reaching the integration stage means it's not easy to go mad. Their minds have grown too strong for that. So, what could cause someone like Han 1 to develop a mental illness? Why did he develop a mental illness? Yunwei looks up at the sky for a while. From her intent, I sense a hint of bitterness, a trace of regret, and a touch of fear. I search far and wide to find out why. The process of finding out was so arduous it's hard to describe. But to cut a long story short, I discovered the reason for Han 1's mental illness when I went to the Nether Ghost realm. Han 1, who created a non-existent woman and fell in love with her. I feel a strange sense of overlap between him and Kong Min-hee, who is currently fighting Xiao Li. She, too, is hating something non-existent. Maybe there's a clue to solving Kong Min-hee's issue. I focus on Yunwei's words. Why did he develop it? God. Han 1 developed a severe mental fracture by directly facing a great higher being that could be called a god. Facing such an overwhelmingly powerful existence, even in a dream, can cause mental issues. A great higher being. A true immortal. In other words, just like Han 1, Kong Min-hee's mental illness might be related to a true immortal. And Whether it was due to the influence of that higher being, I'm not sure, but the bright cold realm tried to erase any traces of the golden divine heavenly thunder sect and some others. Under the orders of Baek Woon, I erased the golden divine heavenly thunder sect with my own hands. Then, using the sacred artifact of the Een Soul Ghost sect and the secret arts I learned in the Nether Ghost realm, I forcibly sealed and treated Han Won's mind. From Yunwei's mouth, the secret history from 40,000 years ago flows out. And the cured Han Won came to firmly believe that I had killed his true love. His memory was distorted during the treatment process. You know what happened afterward? I used the sacred object of the Een Soul Ghost sect to weaken Han Won's realm and inflicted a fatal wound, forcing him to recuperate at the Heaven-Earth Palace. This is the truth from 40,000 years ago. Under the orders of Sacred Master Baek Woon of the Bright Cold Realm, Yunwei destroyed the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect with her own hands and attempted to treat Han Won. Although the treatment succeeded, the cost was that Han Won's memory was distorted, leading him to believe that Yunwei had killed his true love and attempt to kill her. I watch Yunwei, whose intent is tinged with bitterness, and think, how tragic. Then suddenly, a bizarre thought comes to mind. Is Han Won the tragic one, or is Yunwei the tragic one? For some reason, I feel that Han Won, whose mind was toyed with by a great existence, to be the more tragic one. Damned main body. Kong Min, he is going even crazier. After I said colleague Kong whatever, Kong Min's eyes completely turned, and she charged at me. Speaking of which, is Han Won the tragic one? I feel that Yunwei, betrayed by her lover, is more tragic. This is a bizarre difference of opinion between the main body and me. Boom. Chwak. Kong Min's ghost claws tear into my belly, gouging out a deep wound. This won't do. If this continues, I will die. Dying isn't the problem, but losing the identity I had established in the Black Ghost Valley will be painful. I even made an agreement as CO Lee to go to Lofty Dragon True Person Storage Scroll. I can't let this opportunity slip away. Absolutely not. I quickly think. Yuan Yu's blood body is practicing Heaven Tribe methods. It's possible to use Entering Heaven's Formless Sword and the Mad Lord circuits, but it hasn't mastered Earth Tribe methods. Without the harmony of Heaven, Earth, and Heart, overcoming the two-realm difference is impossible. In this situation, how can I win against Kong Min-hee, who is not open to any persuasion? How? As I ponder this, I suddenly observe the Ghost King transformed nascent soul within my body. Wait, is that possible? It seems like a crazy idea, but I somehow feel it might be possible with CO Lee's body. If overcoming a two-realm difference is impossible, I just need to make it a one-realm difference. In other words, while escaping from Kong Min-hee, I will immediately elevate this body to the heavenly being stage. Woo. Absorbing the Een energy around me and the ghostly energy from Kong Min-hee, I quickly begin refining my mind with the formulas for the heavenly being stage. I'll rise to the heavenly being stage. Right now, immediately. Translator notes. 8-foot ghost, Potential, is a term referring to a ghost from a Japanese ghost story. Basically, the ghost has long hair, wears a wide-brimmed hat, and has twisted joints. Editor note. If you're curious, the original Japanese name is Bashiang, Hasakasoma. Funnily enough, it looks like it isn't actually from ancient Japanese folklore or anything, but rather a thread on 2chan's occult board made in 2008, which I did not expect at all. Chapter 305, Protection, Go. 7. Join the Discord for chapter updates and important news. Woo. I feel my mind suddenly snap awake. How should I put it? Though I am being chased by Kong Min-hee, I am simultaneously seeing another path. And I feel as if the knowledge of what I need to do to walk this path is flowing directly into my mind. I understand. At this very moment, I can see how to walk this path, what needs to be done to walk this path. I understand it all. This path is made of death and more death, and a river of blood and life. Purple Yang Madness Devilish Art, Expending Soul, True Devil Method, Yama Hidden Inheritance Will, Corpse Devouring Secret Ritual Tome, Serene Soul, True Secrets. I connect to Bayul's consciousness with the wonderfully mysterious innate heart canon and ask for knowledge of the devilish arts. While receiving complete memories is impossible, I can grasp rough fragments. The devilish arts like Expending Soul, True Devil Method, Yama Hidden Inheritance Will, Corpse Devouring Secret Ritual Tome, and Serene Soul, True Secrets that Bayul had seen. These are scenes from Bayul's memory where he had only seen these arts. I integrate these scenes and the Ghost Immortal Kuei devilish secrets to consolidate the devilish arts. The integration is swift. All the devilish arts, except for Silver Basket Devil Technique and Yama Hidden Inheritance Will, merge into the formulas floating in my mind. Expending Soul, True Devil Method and Corpse Devouring Secret Ritual Tome are absorption-type methods. Purple Yang Madness Devilish Art is a discharge-type method. Serene Soul, True Secrets is a consciousness-type method. All these methods, based on the ghost immortal Kuei devilish secrets and by Yul's memory scenes, are realized within me, consolidated, and newly integrated. I can devour all the ghost kings that Kong Min Hee is releasing before me and immediately convert them into power. If I desire, I can weaken my opponent's strength to elevate my own realm. However, is this path right? Before stepping onto the path, I wonder if this is truly the right path for me. I don't know why. No, it's not this. But upon reflection, it's obvious. As expected, I don't want to sacrifice others. Taking away from Kong Min Hee indiscriminately. Devouring ghost kings that have already died once. The Tao is something that can only be obtained by growing stronger and rising higher on one's own. Something only achieved through self-cultivation and self-sacrifice, with the resolve to die in the evening if attained in the morning. That is the Tao. So how can something obtained by sacrificing others become my power? What belongs to others remains theirs. Taking it by force will never make it mine. Indeed, seeing. Using the wonderfully mysterious innate heart cannon, I extend my consciousness. And I send a signal to the living beings within 1,000 li radius of Cold Een Marsh. Do-do-do-do-do. The living beings of Cold Een Marsh who receive my consciousness signal begin to flee in terror. In fact, most had already fled when Kong Min Hee began to exert her power, and those remaining are at least at the core formation stage, able to withstand the aftermath of her power. They use the flying escape technique or gliding technique to swiftly flee beyond 1,000 li, and I use the technique I have just created. Then, let's not covet what belongs to others. I will not steal from others. Instead, I will borrow. And the ones I will borrow from are not others, but heaven and earth. From this ownerless world. Kugugugugugu. The land of the Cold Een Marsh within 1,000 li radius. The land of the Cold Een Marsh, where plants tenaciously grow even in the cold, begin to wither. Due to the devilish art I created, the life force of Cold Een Marsh begins to dry up. Devilish art. Great desert to Dead Sea, Da Moasekam. Biasik. In an instant, the 1,000 li radius of Cold Een Marsh dries up and turns into a desert. At the same time, the life force and energy that flows from Cold Een Marsh surges within me. A devilish art that sacrifices no one becomes my power within me. While I gain power by gazing at the path, I realize that I have not entered the path. Main body. I cool my head and convey my will to the main body. Receive the secret art of the Nether Ghost Realm from Yun Wei. From now on, I will heal Kong Min Hee. The secret art that Yun Wei used to heal Han 1. After a while, the main body receives the secret technique formula from Yun Wei and transmits it to me. The secret art of Spirit Sealing Bodkin, Feng Shi. It's the name of a spell that forcibly drives a wedge into the torn spirit of the opponent to suture it. Main body, complete the Spirit Sealing Bodkin and transfer it to me. I will receive the technique after challenging the Heavenly Being stage and heal Kong Min Hee. After conveying my intentions to the main body, I begin converting the energy gathered by Great Desert to Dead Sea into spiritual power to prepare for the Heavenly Being stage. Pying. Kong Min Hee's line of intent aims at me. I quickly evade using Mountain Lord's soaring flight. As expected, her skills are well beyond the first-rate level. She has always been like that. Suddenly, I feel a surge of emotion towards Kong Min Hee. First rate. Receiving Xiao Li's sentiments, I scoff. Is it the influence of becoming a ghost king? Xiao Li has become too sentimental. An overreaction. Kong Min Hee was first-rate. Absolutely not. Clang, clang. While preparing the Spirit Sealing Bodkin received from Yun Wei, I recall past memories. A translucent silver chain forms between my palms. Just like the 5 Elements Blood Curse banner, the Spirit Sealing Bodkin is a spell that is half completed in the plane of soul. Therefore, I can complete it here and transmit it through consciousness to Xiao Li. However, I do not convey my cynicism for Xiao Li to Xiao Li. Sentimental Xiao Li is overestimating Kong Min Hee. Useless emotions are distorting memories. A sober evaluation of Kong Min Hee would state that she barely scraped the level of a second-rate martial artist on Earth. Xiao Li is simply raising his evaluation because he can't control his emotions. I'll pass the Spirit Sealing Bodkin to you. Xiao Li, get a grip. Don't you think something is wrong with you right now? Something wrong? With me? Certainly. The evaluation of Kong Min Hee's skills might have been embellished in my memories. But I think the main body has become unnecessarily cold, as if a chunk of ice has lodged in his head. Understood. I will keep it in mind. Accepting that there's something suspicious, I receive the Spirit Sealing Bodkin from the main body. Simultaneously, I half close my eyes while evading Kong Min Hee's intent. Sutsutsu. I cover my surroundings with my consciousness domain. There is a difference between a martial artist's consciousness domain and a cultivator's consciousness domain. The cultivator's domain is transparent. Though clear, it can only sense but do nothing more. However, the martial artist's domain is vividly colorful. All colors can be seen. Among them, the areas where the red lines and blues line form. The red domain and blue domain are important areas in combat. The red domain is where all the paths from which the opponent can attack intersect and overlap. The blue domain is where all the paths from which I can attack intersect and overlap. Red and blue. And these red and blue are most similar to the two colors of intent that I know of. The anger and sorrow of the 7 emotions. Anger is easy to understand. The hostility the opponent directs at me is most similar to anger. Then, in what way are the dark blue color and the blue color of my optimized path similar? Protection. The essence of sorrow is self-protection. Therefore, the intent extending from oneself is expressed as blue intent, optimized to protect and safeguard oneself. For some reason, a conversation I had with Tae Yeol-jon comes to mind. While discussing the 7 brilliances kings with her, she explained the lapis lazuli protecting heavenly king as follows. The lapis lazuli protecting heavenly king, adorned in armor made of lapis lazuli, is a king who protects and safeguards humans from pain and suffering. Because of his presence, humans may be wounded and fall, but under his protection, they will eventually rise again from their injuries. Thus, he symbolizes protection. Why is it? Seeing Kong Min-hee clad in piercing blue ghost fire, she appears fragile as if he sharpened her edges to protect herself. Just like glass, glass is written and pronounced the same way as lapis lazuli in Korean. Her consciousness domain is entirely red. However, from her perspective, that red light is all blue light meant to protect herself. I have to pierce through that blue armor and drive the spirit sealing bodkin into her soul. Can I pierce it? No. Is it right to pierce it? Under this dilemma, I begin to step through the ghost storm towards Kong Min-hee, one step at a time. At the same time, my cultivation begins to rise. Keying. The blood soul embedded in Yuan Yu's body begins to integrate internally and externally under my influence. Heaven and man unity. Spring, will to become an immortal established. The formula of the heavenly being stage swiftly flashes through my mind. Simultaneously, my nascent soul gradually transforms into a massive ghost king. Along with it, Yuan Yu's blood body. I feel Co Lee's body surpassing the plane, gradually becoming ghostly. As my skin becomes more translucent, blue ghost fire swirls around me. The immense power of heaven and earth, gathered from great desert to Dead Sea, transforms through my enlightenment. Early heavenly being stage. Summer, unswayed amidst the heavenly mandate. Mid-heavenly being stage. Autumn-winter, heavenly compliance, heart's governance. Late heavenly being stage. I assimilate every bit of the immense heaven and earth spiritual energy within my body without losing a single drop. The more I absorb, the more I transform into a complete ghostly being, allowing me to approach Kong Min-hee. As my body grows larger, skulls made of ghostly energy emerge from various places, forming heads like General Co. I stand before Kong Min-hee as a ghost king with 18 heads. Bo-wung. Her ghostly storm targets me, tearing through the air. I hold the spirit sealing bodkin with half-closed eyes burning with ghost fire. Perhaps, Kong Min-hee. Grand perfection heavenly being. Heavenly circle, acceptance at fate's end. When we liked each other, it wasn't just a joke. With each step I take, her intent, and my own intent seeps out. As I contemplate myself, I become increasingly aware of why Kong Min-hee had always been uncomfortable to face. How long has it been since I faced her so openly? Perhaps we were more sincere back then than we realize. Perhaps it's because we were sincere that it's been uncomfortable all this time. Because we were sincere, we treated each other all the more so as if it was just a game. I can't fully understand what is causing you pain. But, before our awkward relationship, as evil friends, frenemies, can I offer at least this much comfort? With sincerity, I drive the spirit sealing bodkin into her. A move made fully predicting that her ghostly storm will pierce through me. However, surprisingly, the spirit sealing bodkin penetrates directly through her blue domain. Whether it's due to her lack of martial prowess, or her permitting me, I don't know. But certainly, it connects. Audiobook. When there is a significant difference in cultivation, like with Yun Wei and Han Wan, one side must lower their realm to successfully achieve spiritual suturing. But between a grand perfection heavenly being and an early 4-axis, it isn't that difficult. At that moment, Wai Yang. Amidst the blue intent, I spot a faint pink hue. And, with a clear mind, I can finally hear the whispers of the pink intent. Previously, I had received a gift from those children. The children of cause and connection whose wedding I had blessed flash before my eyes, and simultaneously, the voice of a dignified being implants a certain formula into my mind. 3. It's the formula for the grand perfection heavenly being stage. Not fate's fulfillment, but a completely different formula. Is this what I received as a reward for blessing them? Why hadn't I received it until now? Why only now, using Co Lee's body, did I receive it? It makes me incredibly curious. Chi-yi. Before I know it, The spirit sealing bodkin has entered Kong Minhee, suturing part of her spirit. Before I know it, we have returned from our ghostly forms to our human bodies. In the center of cold Een Marsh, which has become a desert, we look at each other as morning dawns. You aren't the shadow. Kong Min, he looks at me briefly and then gives a bitter smile. Then, you must be Co Eunhyun. Chapter 306, For Co, Towards Co1. Join the Discord for chapter updates and important news. Chapter 306, For Co, Towards Co1. Kong Min, he is looking at me. No, her gaze is precisely directed towards my soul. What exactly happened to you? Connecting through the spirit sealing bodkin, she and I are linked at this very moment. Although the connection will soon be severed, thanks to it, Kong Minhee's nether perception can see more clearly into my essence. She creates an ice chair and collapses into it. She looks extremely tired. You bastard, if you're going to show up, at least do it properly. Kong Min, he curses with her eyes closed. However, the corners of her mouth are lifted. And then she falls asleep. It's the effect of the spirit sealing bodkin. Kong Min, he dreamt. It was a dream about what happened on Earth. In that dream, she was looking at a shadow in front of her dressing table. She was glaring at the shadow in the mirror. The shadow spoke. You are me. I am you. A shadow you created to protect yourself. Your talent is so immense that I was born naturally. Kong Min, he bit her lip. Without responding to the shadow, she quickly applied light makeup and left. The shadow is her talent, a part of her power, and she realized it. Her talent had been fully absorbed when she entered the Black Ghost Valley that very day. She had learned the Ghost Path method from Hyogwak and absorbed everything into herself. It's a truth she had ignored until now. The shadow is her own power, and the shadow is already within her. Therefore, the shadow can never appear before her again, as she had awakened her talent and devoured it long ago. When the memory she had subconsciously sealed was released, it healed her mind. But was that the price? Or was it a side effect of the spirit sealing bodkin? Or perhaps the prank of someone who had lost their mind? Kong Minhee, having released one memory, had to seal another. The memory of seeing Co Eunhyun's soul inside Seoli. That fleeting memory was completely buried by the spirit sealing bodkin embedded in her soul. Kong Min, he opened her eyes again. Her last memory is that for some reason she had gone berserk, and Seoli had intervened to stop her. Although it felt like some memory had been sealed as a consequence, her distorted memory made her believe that the sealed memory was the cause of her berserk state. Thus, Kong Min, he vowed not to touch this seal until she grew strong enough to overcome her own rampage. What, Seoli? After bidding Yunwei off, I speak as I return to Heavenly Cauldron Mountain. Complaints are pouring in from Seoli. Did you seal Kong Minhee's memory? Her knowing your identity won't help her at all. It was not your place to meddle with her memory. It's to the extent she can undo it herself when she's ready. She'll think about it later when she grows stronger. Why are you delaying the truth? I don't see why she needs to know it now. It's more important to send John Myung-hoon to the Nether Ghost Realm. There's no need to shake Kong Minhee's mind unnecessarily. It's not about necessity. Everything in this world is just a matter of necessity. There's no contact from Seoli for a while. I click my tongue, wondering if I should treat Seoli's paranoia as well. It's then that I arrive at Heavenly Human Island. Master, it has been a while. Is it Hong Fan? Yes, the client from the Earth tribe canceled the creation of the poison, saying something went wrong. Still, I got everything I wanted. Both the cultivation scattering poison and the antidote. That's good. You're indeed useful, Hong Fan. At my words, Hong Fan bows his head in gratitude before looking at me. But master, you seem different from before. You think I've changed? Yes. Are you not feeling well? Where do you think I'm unwell? It seems there might be an issue with your consciousness. I can detect anomalies in the consciousness with the formless poison I developed that I injected into your upper dantian. But your consciousness waves are different from before. I furrow my brows. Hearing those words, I suddenly feel an overwhelming surge of annoyance and a murderous desire to kill Hong Fan. But at the same time, I suppress that emotion with reason and thought. Not only Seoli, but also Hong Fan thinks there's something wrong with me. In that case, there's a chance that I really do have a problem. I contemplate using the spirit sealing bodkin on myself. However, I feel that my mental issue is not merely a matter of a simple mental disorder. Well, fine. The reason I sought Taeyuljon in the first place is to obtain the Buddhist family methods to help with my consciousness. As I return to Heavenly Cauldron Mountain, I take out the Buddhist family method books I had received from Taeyuljon. If I learn these methods, I will be able to clearly identify what is wrong with my consciousness. But then, Hong Fan, looking at the Buddhist family methods, asks with a puzzled expression, Master, what are those? These are Buddhist family methods. These methods incorporate the concept of the 7 brilliances kings into their techniques. Listening to my explanation, Hong Fan's eyes light up brightly. Oh, Master. For some reason, I am greatly intrigued. May I also refer to these methods? Hong Fan. But these are Heaven Tribe methods. Oh, is that so? Then please tell me where I can learn more about Buddhist family methods, as I am very interested in the essence of Buddhism itself. I feel a bit puzzled seeing Hong Fan suddenly show such a great interest in the Buddhist family methods. Well, it shouldn't matter. I slice through space to the area below Heavenly Human Island, arriving at Grand Nirvana Temple. This is the Grand Nirvana Temple where Cultivator Te resides. She is one of the human race Grand Cultivators, so treat her with respect, Hong Fan. Of course. I enter Grand Nirvana Temple to introduce Hong Fan to Te Yol-jon. Te Yol-jon is sweeping the courtyard. Despite being at the core formation stage, where using spells would be quicker, she insists on sweeping with her physical body. Another welcome guest has arrived. What brings you here, Cultivator CO? Te Yol-jon greets me warmly. I introduce Hong Fan. Greetings, Taoist Te. This is my subordinate, Hong Fan. He has a great interest in Buddhist family methods. Then, I suddenly notice something strange. An intent that should not be here is blooming beside me. As soon as Hong Fan sees Te Yol-jon, he starts emanating gold and pink intent from his entire body. Hong Fan, with flushed cheeks, stammers. And master, who is this beautiful person? She's the Grand Cultivator Te Yol-jon whom I mentioned. Aya, Hong Fan, as if mesmerized, approaches her and abruptly blurts out thunderous words. And marry me, please. I fell in love at first sight. I blink in confusion, unable to understand, while Te Yol-jon visibly appears flustered. Her face, usually filled with calmness, now shows a mix of astonishment, disbelief, and a hint of panic. Hong Fan's sudden confession is so unexpected and bewildering that it causes even the always serene Te Yol-jon to be taken aback. My apologies, Taoist Te. My subordinate has acted rudely out of the blue. Hong Fan, for now. Be quiet. Hong Fan raises his voice in a tone he had never used with me before, a powerful and assertive tone. Even if you are my master, I will not tolerate you interfering between me and this person. I have never seen the usually calm Hong Fan so enraged, so I step back in surprise. Hong Fan turns his head back to Te Yol-jon and kneels before her, launching into a fervent confession. Oh, beautiful lady, please marry me. I've never met someone as beautiful as you. Just looking at you makes my heart come to life. Please. What is truly bewildering is that, amidst this ridiculous scene, a light pink intent is blooming in Te Yol-jon's chest. Though she looks flustered, her cheeks are now also flushed. Oh no, I'm sorry, but I am a nun. I cannot engage in a relationship. If you give up being a nun, would you be willing to be with me? That is impossible. I swore never to share affection with anyone after attaining my Tao. So, there's no chance for me? Please, give me a chance. Please cheer me on in completing my Tao. Then, wouldn't that pave a way for us to meet? When you complete your Tao, you will become perfect in yourself. How can I possibly meet you then? Only the imperfect can share love. Please give me a chance. Hong Fan prostrates himself before her and begins to sob. Te Yol-jon, with her previously unbroken calm and mystique shattered, is sweating profusely as she tries to console him. Why must you think that way? You haven't seen me complete my Tao. No one but the future king knows what lies at the end of the Tao, so it cannot be concluded. Even if I haven't seen it, if one has wisdom, one can infer the ultimate destination of the Tao. Isn't it true that connections and relationships can only love in an imperfect state? Don't you know that the higher one cultivates, the more unfeeling they become? Please calm down. Only the future king determines fate and destiny. Ask them for a connection. What are you talking about? I don't know who this future king is, but is he some omnipotent being? If it's a fate that is thrown to me by begging, would I be satisfied? I want to seek love from you with my own hands, not from the future king or whatever. Hong Fan, completely agitated, clings to Te Yol-jon with bloodshot eyes, and she carefully pushes him away, sweating profusely. Surprisingly, Hong Fan, who seems like he would cling endlessly, is pushed away helplessly when she gently nudges him. Hong Fan cries out, tears streaming down his face. Am I not acceptable? Please forgive me. Please leave now. Understood. If you ever preach, please let me know. I will watch from afar. Seeing that his confession is no longer effective, Hong Fan retreats in tears. Exhausted from the ordeal, Te Yol-jon wipes her sweat and, unable to hide her distress, bows her head to me. I apologize, Cultivator CO. It seems my condition is not good today, so let's meet another time. Yes. Please go inside. Though I say that, I instinctively feel that Te Yol-jon will not meet me again. As long as Hong Fan is my subordinate, she will probably avoid me. Did I lose a mentor for the Buddhist family methods because of that confession? Feeling a bit exasperated, I glance at Hong Fan, but seeing him lying on the ground, swallowing his tears like a tragic hero, I decide not to question him. fearing he might consume the formless poison he made himself. A little later, after calming Hong Fan down, I head up to Heavenly Human Island with him. Hong Fan. Yes, master. Can I ask why you suddenly made that confession? I told you. I fell in love at first sight. Does the beauty standard of the insect race differ a lot from humans? While I am bewildered, Hong Fan seems to ponder and then speaks. And also, the moment I saw her, something came to mind. What do you mean? Actually, saying I fell in love at first sight isn't quite accurate. I apologize. For some reason, seeing her surfaced memories I had forgotten. I do not know why, but it feels like I have met her somewhere before. I rack my brains and reach one possible conclusion. Could it be Hong Fan's past life? Hong Fan is an ancient soul. That's why he appears elderly and speaks in an old-fashioned manner. Maybe Hong Fan had met Tae Yeol John in his past life. As I sort out my thoughts, Hong Fan suddenly says to me, Master, do you have the Buddhist family methods she gave you? Yes, I do, but please give them to me. I want to have them. At least, let me smell her scent from them. Please, I beg you. In a daze from his desperate plea, I hand the Buddhist family methods I received from Tae Yeol John to Hong Fan. Hong Fan, taking all the books from her, holds them close and closes his eyes as if recalling something. Well, I need those methods too, so bring them back to me later. Hong Fan doesn't respond. I thought he was a useful person, but to be so swayed by emotions like that. I feel a strange sense of disgust towards Hong Fan and return to my cave residence. Then, I frown as I see someone standing in front of my cave residence. What is it? Why are you here? It's Seoli. He used a spell to change his face to look like mine and is waiting for me in front of my cave residence. Seoli looks at me and speaks. You seem to be in a bad mood, main body. Yes, I suffered a loss because Hong Fan acted out of line. Then shouldn't you be making an annoyed face? What about my face? Seoli glares at me and says, Aren't you smiling? I'm smiling. TSTSTST. Seoli conjures a mirror with a spell and shows it to me. In the mirror, despite my bad mood, I am wearing a surprisingly gentle smile that even shocks myself. Main body, don't you think something is strange at this point? Both Hong Fan and I felt something strange about you. And even though we have never made such an unpleasant face when feeling bad, you are now. They say smiles bring good fortune. But even I can tell that is a flimsy excuse. Why am I like this? I'm perplexed. Seoli looks at me with a cold expression and says, Main body, I will seal you in your cave residence. What? Chwerung. Around Seoli, sealing spells like the Spirit Sealing Bodkin, 5 Elements Blood Curse Banner, and Black Ghost Curse Banner appear. Since you need to enter Secluded Cultivation to reach the 4-axis stage anyway, consider it as Secluded Cultivation in your cave residence. I will handle your external activities with my clone body. I will also reach the 4-axis stage first in Black Ghost Valley and share my insights, so don't engage in any activities from now on. Who are you to tell me what to do? I am yourself. I ponder for a long time. Indeed, I have been acting strangely lately. Wouldn't it be better for me to move around and find consciousness methods? Well, I think it's better for you to observe yourself in a sealed state. I think it over rationally. Indeed, Seoli's words make sense. Logically, it's the right move. But for some reason, I don't like it. However, what does it matter if I don't like it? Emotions are. After organizing my thoughts, I smile gently and spread my arms. All right, that seems like the best course of action. Seal me. Please carry on with the plans I intended to execute in my original body. Understood. Then I shall go inside. I enter my cave residence obediently, and Seoli calls out to me from behind. Main body. Bo-wum. Seoli draws out the formless sword and performs a sword dance before speaking. Draw out the formless sword. I smile and draw the formless sword, mimicking Seoli's simple sword dance. I see. Then, stay sealed for about 1,000 years. I shall. Clang, clang, clang. Spirit Sealing Bodkin, 5 Elements Blood Curse Banner, Black Ghost Curse Banner, and various other sealing spells made with devilish arts envelop my cave residence. Before the seal is completed, I hand over a token indicating full authority to my clone, and then I am completely confined. Judging by the structure of the seal, it will be released in 1,000 years. I will have enough time to slowly challenge the 4-axis stage within the seal. I sit cross-legged in the darkness, smiling brightly. After sealing him, I use the clothing spell to completely change my clothes to white. Only after seeing that disgusting expression of his did I realize. That thing is no longer the main body. Seo Huil, what have you done? That thing is now Seo Huil. For the next 1,000 years, I need to find a proper way to kill Seo Huil. Chapter 307. For Seo, towards Seo 2. Join the Discord for chapter updates and important news. Chapter 307. For Seo, towards Seo 2. I lift the formless sword. As Yuan Yu's blood body is not yet accustomed to it, it can't unleash the full power of the formless sword. It can probably only use about 80% of its strength. In other words, my main body has already become accustomed. And perhaps because of that, Co Huiol, who absorbed me, surprisingly used the Treading Heavens formless sword. However, he couldn't communicate with the formless sword. He couldn't show the enlightenment of tribulating heavens. Yet despite that, he used the formless sword, which is a technique related to my heart essence. I am utterly horrified by this fact. How in the world did he manage to parasitize in such a way that makes such a thing possible? To prevent any potential risk of being overtaken, I severed even the slightest connection with my main body. Afterwards, I used the transmission talisman to call Hong Fan. Hong Fan quickly comes running at my call and kneels. You called for me, master. Summon Kim Yun and John Myung-hoon. And inform the Grand Cultivator Assembly that I will be entering secluded cultivation. Let them know that I will be in seclusion for about 1,000 years. And if there are any messages, they should be delivered to my clone. Understood. By the way, master. Yes. Are you the clone? Indeed. Is there a problem? No, not at all. Hong Fan, who had been looking at me intently for a moment, shakes his head. Ha, boring. Go on. After bowing his head once, Hong Fan disappears from in front of me. Shortly after, Kim Yun and John Myung-hoon stand before me. Kim Yun has just returned from the Coldine Marsh. She looks at me and tilts her head as if puzzled. She didn't possibly realize that this body and the one at Coldine Marsh are the same, did she? I sweat internally while asking Kim Yun to explain what she heard from Kong Min-hee. Kim Yun relays Kong Min-hee's words to John Myung-hoon. Well, it doesn't matter. I'll do whatever I'm asked. John Myung-hoon nods and accepts readily. I ask Kim Yun for a favor. Yun-ah, Chief Oh Hyun-suk will be coming back soon. Huh? Chief Oh too? Yes. As a Grand Cultivator, I am well informed of information from the Grand Cultivators meeting. Among the shared information is that a person named Oh Hyun-suk from the Azure Heaven Creation sect is currently knocking on the gate of the bright cold realm from beyond the dimension. We will soon be able to meet Oh Hyun-suk in about 3 or 4 days. With this, I have achieved my goal of gathering my colleagues. The remaining goals are reaching the 4-axis stage, acquiring the technique formula of the Great Mountain Splitting Emperor technique, exploring the storage scroll of Lofty Dragon True Person, and living for over 1,000 years and completely killing Co Huiol. Co Huiol seems to have accepted seclusion under the pretense of reaching the 4-axis stage in my body. I guarantee, no matter how cunning and clever Co Huiol is, he will realize something is wrong after 300 years and scream to the heavens from within the cave residence. No one knows my main body's talents better than I do. And a few days later, we reach the entrance to the true devil realm and encounter a familiar face. Chief Oh. It's Oh Hyun-suk. He looks up at Kim Yun with weary eyes, then turns his gaze to me and John Myung-hoon, standing behind her. How have you been, Hyun-suk Hyungnim? I have been fine. I greet him casually, while John Myung-hoon greets him with a face that looks like he wants to die from awkwardness. Oh Hyun-suk stares at us for a moment, then plops down on the spot. It feels like a dream. To think I actually survived that battlefield. He sighs deeply, catching his breath. Oh Hyun-suk, who has reached the grand perfection nascent soul stage, laughs as he pants. I smile at him as he sighs with relief. Yes, congratulations. In this life, he has not been mentally broken by the Black Dragon King or the Blood-ean esteemed one. Azure Tiger Saint is also not dead, and there is only room for growth in the future. I look at him while inwardly smiling bitterly. Though the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect's fate relating to true immortals was twisted. Just changing the situation of one person like Oh Hyun-suk was enough to alter fate. If I had been a bit stronger, could I have saved the entire Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect? Maybe, just maybe, that could have been the case. Let's become stronger quickly. With the Great Desert to Dead Sea spell I created, I am confident I can reach the 4-axis stage. After enjoying a reunion and sharing stories with Oh Hyun-suk, I send him back to the Azure Heaven Creation sect. Alright, so you're telling me to come back after reaching the 4-axis stage? Yes, well, I'd appreciate it if you could do that. Haha, alright. I understand. I also learned a lot from this human-devil war. He boards the giant flying magic artifact heading toward the Azure Heaven Creation sect, looking back at the entrance to the true devil realm with bitter eyes. The entrance to the true devil realm is now completely blocked by the grand cultivators of the true devil realm. At least for now, the human race won't be able to invade the true devil realm recklessly. Are we humans good or evil? Oh Hyun-suk mutters, looking at the true devil realm with a muddled gaze. I've been thinking a lot about that. If I ask my master at the Azure Heaven Creation sect, he'll probably give me a very clear answer. He's that kind of person, but what do you all think? He asks us with a confused look in his eyes. Are humans good or evil? It's been nearly 100 years since we came to this world. Each of you must have your own experiences, so please tell me what you think. In response, Kim Yun answers immediately. Her eyes are filled with a certain conviction. I think the theory that humans are inherently evil is more correct. Pure humans are ultimately just great evils. It's an answer only she, who has experienced the pure human mad lord, could give. Contrarily, John Myung-hoon gives the exact opposite answer. He caresses the wooden box in his chest and speaks. Well, I'd rather believe in the theory that humans are inherently good. If humans aren't good, how could they care for others when facing death? It's an answer only he, who has heard the dying words of Jin Sohei, could give. Interesting. If we were back at the company, you two would probably have given the opposite answers. There have been many incidents, after all. Yes, many things have happened. At Oh Hyun-suk's words, the two show bitter expressions. Truly, we have experienced too many things. Then Eun-hyun, what do you think? However, I can't answer Oh Hyun-suk immediately. I don't know. You don't know? Yes. You might think it's foolish, but I truly don't know. No matter how much I ponder, it's a question I can't answer. I see. I understand. All of your answers have been helpful. I'll keep them in mind. Having witnessed the human race's ugliness during the Human-Devil War, Oh Hyun-suk seems to be deeply troubled by the nature of humans. He hugs each of us one by one and then departs for the Azure Heaven Creation sect. I have a feeling we will meet again soon. After sending Oh Hyun-suk off, I asked Kim Yun to take John Myung-hoon to the Black Ghost Valley. Eun-hyun appa, aren't you going? Don't you need to meet Min-hee Yuni too? I'll meet Kong Min-hee later. I feel I need more courage to face Kong Min-hee with my original face. Although the main body had sealed her memories arbitrarily, it seems somewhat fortunate now. Kim Yun nods and heads to Black Ghost Valley with John Myung-hoon. After watching them disappear, I change back to Seo Lee's face and quickly head to Black Ghost Valley. For now, it's time to be with Kong Min-hee as Seo Lee, not Seo Eun-hyun. Black Ghost Valley. Inside the office of the Ghost Soul Hall in the Nether Crossing ship. Hey, long time no see. You rascal. Kong Min-hee taps the ashes out from her pipe, extinguishes the embers, and then greets Kim Yun and John Myung-hoon. I stand beside Kong Min-hee with Seo Lee's face and greet the two. John Myung-hoon briefly makes eye contact with me, his expression becoming strange. Thinking back, this guy knows about Yuan Yu's blood body. Fortunately, he seemed to catch on quickly as he was about to say something but closed his mouth. Kong Min-hee glances at John Myung-hoon with her eyes gleaming. Oh, to be honest, I didn't expect anything, but you've changed a lot, haven't you? That delinquent. At her words, John Myung-hoon looks at Kong Min-hee with an expressionless face and speaks. It seems like you're trying to get on my nerves, but I'll apologize for what happened on Earth. I'm sorry. Anyway, how do we use the side path? Kong Min-hee's eyes widen in surprise at his response. You've really grown. All right, sorry for trying to test you. Then for now, I can let you use the side path. But what will you offer to the Black Ghost Valley as compensation? Even the disciples of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect who used the side path before all paid the usage fee. John Myung-hoon nods at this. I'll put it on Seo Eun-hyun's tab. Since he became a grand cultivator of the human race, he'll be getting tons of support. Kong Min-hee and I both let out a wry smile at John Myung-hoon, casually sticking the bill on me. She does so outwardly, while I do so inwardly. It seems your love for credit hasn't changed much. You sly bastard. Aren't you doing it a bit too naturally? Kong Min-hee clicks her tongue and nods. Well, fine. I'll get the payment from Seo Eun-hyun. You have proof, right? John Myung-hoon hands over a recording talisman with my voice to Kong Min-hee. It's a talisman containing my voice promising any assistance when heading to the Nether Ghost Realm. Kong Min-hee nods. Good. Then I'll let you use the side path. But, as Yun must have already told you, you must follow my orders without question. Otherwise, you can't enter. I'll do so. With that, Kong Min-hee nods and leads us out of the Nether Crossing ship. I, having reached the Heavenly Being stage and assumed the position of Ghost Soul Hall Chief, follow them in that capacity. Outside the Nether Crossing ship, in one of the valleys of Black Ghost Valley, in a valley with terrain resembling a basin filled with Een energy. At the bottom, there's a red pattern that looks as if it was drawn with blood, and surrounding the pattern are long totem-like posts, pointing toward the center. There are a few ways to enter the Nether Ghost Realm. The easiest is to become an integration stage cultivator, wrap your body with your domain, and break through the boundary of the Nether Ghost Realm. This is the most stable method. With your domain protecting you, your body won't be harmed by the Nether Ghost Realm's energy, and it'll be the safest way to return as well. She continues. Another way is to die and become a ghost, then enter before being dragged into the Netherworld. The Nether Ghost Realm is connected to the Netherworld, after all, and a method linked to this is to practice ghost path methods and become a ghostly entity. Or, you can transform your body into a Jiangshi or other undead. This method makes using the side path overwhelmingly easier and allows you to be unharmed and even grow stronger after entering the Nether Ghost Realm. But for someone like you, who has no connection to ghost path methods, there are only two options. Whoom. As she forms hand seals, the red pattern begins to glow. First, enter the domain of an integration stage cultivator and be protected by them. Second, use a side path like this. For someone with a living body like you to use the side path, one thing is necessary. Kong Min-hee points to the center of the pattern, looking at John Myung-hoon. Stand there. No matter what happens, don't leave that spot. If you move during the process, the great spell will be disrupted, and you might lose your body. All right. John Myung-hoon calmly walks to the center of the pattern and stands there. Kong Min-hee continues to form hand seals while resuming her explanation. We will temporarily make your body a dead body. Then, we will separate your soul from your flesh and put your soul through a trial. The soul that passes the trial will obtain an illusory form called the dream body. You can then enter the nether ghost realm with that dream body. Well, that's all fine, but I can return to my original form, right? Of course. How many people do you think have taken the side path? Whoom. As she completes the hand seals, she focuses her consciousness. Now, the preparations are complete. Shall we begin? Go ahead. Right away, black bandage-like things shoot out from the mouths of the 8 totem poles. The bandages fly towards John Myung-hoon, wrapping around his limbs. John Myung-hoon grits his teeth. As the bandages wrap around his body, he gradually shrivels, turning into something like a mummy. The bandages store your life force. You'll return to normal later, so just accept it. Don't move from your spot, and endure. John Myung-hoon grits his teeth, enduring the pain of his life force being forcibly extracted without uttering a sound. Apparently, it seems getting beaten up by me to the point of his body exploding helps. Soon, John Myung-hoon completely transforms into a mummy-like form. In this state, the bandages that have been unraveling from the totems are completely severed and wrapped around John Myung-hoon. Now I'll extract your soul. Endure this as well. Kadoo-da-duck. As Kong Min-hee reaches out her hand, it transforms into a massive ghostly hand. Her ghostly hand reaches through the void, grabbing the head of the mummified John Myung-hoon. Immediately, she applies force, and John Myung-hoon's nascent soul is seen being extracted from his head. The pain appears immense as John Myung-hoon fails to hold back his scream. Quaart. Kong Min-hee quickly places John Myung-hoon's nascent soul into the red pattern. After some time, John Myung-hoon, who is now inside the maze-like pattern, begins to find his way out. Finally, John Myung-hoon's nascent soul emerges from the maze-like pattern and stands atop of it in a semi-transparent form. It seems this is the dream body Kong Min-hee had mentioned. Now, I'm sending you off, John Myung-hoon. When you arrive, a guiding ghost will attach to you, but never reveal that you're alive. Got it? Even though you're going with the recommendation of the Black Ghost Valley, revealing that you have a living body will attract all sorts of trouble, so remember my words. Understood. All right. For any other precautions, get them from the guiding ghost. Well then, safe travels. Pat it. As the red pattern emits a red light, John Myung-hoon, who stands atop of it, suddenly sinks down. I realize that the pattern is connected to the side path. It's done. Through this, John Myung-hoon has gone to the side path. He should arrive at the nether ghost realm. I see. A question arises in my mind, so I ask Kong Min-hee. Grand Elder, may I ask one question? What is it? Can anyone else enter the side path? For example, someone like me who has learned the ghost path method and can attempt to become a ghost king. It's not possible right now. You'd need to wait at least 50 years. John Myung-hoon's consciousness is quite large, which would have put a strain on the side path. I understand. Thank you. I smack my lips. If it was possible to enter within a year, it would have been great to accompany John Myung-hoon until the storage scroll of Lofty Dragon True Person opened. But 50 years. It will take another 50 years to return as well. Moreover, there's no guarantee that others wouldn't use the side path, which could extend the time even further. Well, it can't be helped. I have saved Oh Hyun-suk. John Myung-hoon has gone to the nether ghost realm. So, the remaining tasks are Lofty Dragon True Person's storage scroll and reaching the 4-axis stage. I look at my body and observe the energy of the great desert to Dead Sea swirling inside me, making a resolution. Before Lofty Dragon True Person's storage scroll opens, I will reach the 4-axis stage. With this body, and its compatibility with the great desert to Dead Sea, it is definitely possible. Of course, deep down, I want to immediately find a way to kill Seo Huiol. But I am still weak. Thus, it's better to find a way after reaching the 4-axis stage. Just like I couldn't save anyone when I was weak, but managed to save Oh Hyun-suk as I grew stronger. The more powerful I become, the more people I can save, and the wider that scope will be. I need to get stronger, to rise higher, until I can know and achieve much more. Therefore, until I enter Lofty Dragon True Person's storage scroll, I resolve to fully devote myself to reaching the 4-axis stage. Humans are foolish creatures. They always regret only after losing something. I feel the same way. I open my mouth in the pitch-black darkness. It's disgusting, Seo Huiol. And then, my mouth opens again. What do you mean by that, Taoist Seo? Quite some time has passed since Seo Li sealed me. Seo Li had severed our connection, leaving me alone in the darkness to endure solitude. At some point, I realized that someone is taking control over me. It's Seo Huiol. It wasn't until more than 80% of the control had passed to Seo Huiol that I recognized him. Sitting in a lotus position, I concentrate my efforts on escaping Seo Huiol's encroachment by operating the canvas of myriad forms and connections. Was it that killing you would cause you to parasitize on me? Haha, who knows? He answers vaguely, never providing any clear information. Damn it. In the end, my judgment was foolish, and Seo Li's judgment was correct. If I had roamed around openly, I would have eventually been replaced by Seo Huiol and driven those around me to ruin. Do I have about 1,000 years? Something like that. Your clone's judgment was excellent. Now I can somewhat understand your way of speaking a bit better. Something like that implies I have less than 1,000 years to get out. Your clone's judgment was excellent means that Seo Li has acted foolishly. This is the extent of my interpretation. There's less time than I thought. My physical body is already immobilized. Only the canvas of myriad forms and connections connected to my soul can move, but that is all. Even that is gradually becoming uncontrollable. Techniques are gradually leaving me, and I can feel even the ownership of the colorless glass sword shifting towards him. The human being that is me is gradually being replaced by Seo Huiol. I can move only one thing. Boom. A transparent blade moves through the void, cutting my body. Pukwak. The entity occupying my body smiles faintly and heals the wound. As expected, the power of the heart tribe cannot be dealt with no matter what. The formless sword. The remaining 20% of me, that Seo Huiol has not yet taken over. That is the only barrier protecting me. But shall I tell you something interesting? The power of the heart tribe is meaningless whether it exists or not. Sealing it is simple. Wawoom. With those words, I feel Seo Huiol's filthy heart essence rising inside me. I can feel his heart essence suppressing the power of the formless sword within my own heart essence. I am completely trapped within the innermost part of my heart essence world. Seo Huiol stands outside my heart essence world, smiling broadly at me. Just stay seated here. As long as you remain quietly within your heart essence, I will ensure your existence is maintained. How is this possible? I ask with a hardened face, looking at Seo Huiol outside my heart essence. What do you mean? How is it possible to use the heart essence like a tool? I ask, observing how Seo Huiol had fragmented his own heart essence to envelop mine like a barrier. He is manipulating his heart essence like a puppet. It's an obvious matter. Emotions, heart, are merely the movement of substances in the upper dantian and some electrical signals. Once you understand the principle, using them is possible. He smiles and turns away. It seems that Taoist Seo doesn't fully understand yet. Do not worry. As long as you stay quiet, I will leave you a small part of your domain. With those words, Seo Huiol disappears from the outskirts of my heart essence with a smile. I sit comfortably atop the glass sword mountain, gazing at the sky. Wrong, Seo Huiol. My eyes gleam brightly. I understand your speech now. You're not leaving me a portion of my domain. You simply cannot enter this place, can you? SSSS. I can feel it. Though he might be able to subdue human thoughts, he cannot easily invade the heart. I lie down among the swords piercing me on the glass sword mountain, focusing my mind. I don't know what you're planning. But, Seo Huiol, I won't go down easily. Keying. I practice using the formless sword, drawing on the power of tribulating heavens. Compress. I recall the memory of the spar with Taeyeol John in my mind. What she had shown is undoubtedly the first step before the throne. The power that the heaven and earth tribes call the fourth stage of manifestation. Beyond tribulating heavens. I recall the divine power Kim Young-hoon had shown. Keying. Compress. Compress and compress. Imbue the essence of my heart entirely into this sword. Within my heart essence, I connect to the essence of the formless sword, focusing all my consciousness. Whether it takes hundreds of years or thousands. Seo Huiol, I will definitely escape. Chapter 308. For Seo, towards Seo 3. Join the Discord for chapter updates and important news. Chapter 308. For Seo, towards Seo 3. I stand in front of Kong Min-hee. It's been 5 years since John Myung-hoon left for the Nether Ghost Realm. Bai Yul, who had been serving to me, has returned to the Grand Tomb Domain, and the time has come for Kong Min-hee to head back to the side path she manages. You know, I always feel like time flows faster in this world. When I first saw you, you were only at the Grand Perfection Nascent Soul stage, and now you're an elder at the late Heavenly Being stage. Currently, I have carved away the Grand Perfection Heavenly Being stage cultivation base built with the original formula to rebuild it with the newly discovered formula. Thus, my current cultivation is late Heavenly Being stage. However, despite deliberately reducing my cultivation base, I have confidence that this won't pose a significant problem. Next time you see me, I will be in the 4-axis stage. When I come out next time, it will probably be 50 years from now. Do you think you can reach the 4-axis stage in 50 years? Well, won't it be possible if I work really hard? Who knows? No matter how talented you are, the 4-axis stage isn't a game of poker. Poker? There's something like that. Kong Min, he gives a wry smile and pats me on the shoulder. By now, I have grown quite close to her as Seoli. Not because she suspected me of being the Ghost King and was pretending to be close, but she genuinely is opening her heart to me. And the closer I get, the more guilty I feel towards her. Well then, I'm off. Do your best, Elder Seo. Kong Min, he waves at me and turns around, walking towards the red pattern. Kugugugugu. Transforming into the form of a 2.4 m tall ghost spewing dark, ghostly energy, she descends beneath the pattern. I watch her for a moment before forming a hand seal to close the door of the pattern. In 50 years, Kong Min, he will emerge once again. Let's train. Earnestly. I take out the token given to me by the main body, the storage scroll. From within the storage scroll, I pull out a pitch-black skull. It's the 6 Extremes Een Thunder Body method. Inside the skull resides a minor spirit, and as a Ghost King, I command it. Recite the technique formula. Startled by my command, the minor spirit crawls out of the skull and begins reciting the technique formula of the 6 Extremes Een Thunder Body. Though the 6 Extremes Een Thunder Body seems to be quite effective, I have been suspicious since Seo Huiol had hinted about it to Heo Guak, so I haven't practiced it. But now, having familiarized myself with the methods of Black Ghost Valley, I can immediately detect any suspicious points if there are any. Returning to my cave residence, I listen to the entire technique formula of the 6 Extremes Een Thunder Body, and finally understand Heo Guak's intention behind passing it to me. Heo Guak, that person is also subtly malicious. The 6 Extremes Een Thunder Body can be practiced starting from the core formation stage, and is divided into 7 stages. However, it's only from the second stage at the nascent soul that one can truly exert its power. In the first stage at core formation, one can only accumulate Een Lightning, but cannot control it. Furthermore, as time passes, the amount of Een Lightning will increase. If one does not rise to the nascent soul stage in time to control the Een Lightning, they will either explode from their golden core or succumb to Qi deviation, making it a dangerous method. And Heo Guak had given me only the first stage technique formula of the 6 Extremes Een Thunder Body. If I had recklessly practiced the 6 Extremes Een Thunder Body, I'd have been in for some trouble by now. It's structured in a malicious way such that one has no choice but to join the Black Ghost Valley to receive the latter stages of the technique formula. It seems this was also Seo Huiol's intention when he whispered to Heo Guak back then. That damn Seo Huiol, as disgusting as a beggar's foot cloth. After cursing Seo Huiol, I head to the method repository to find the 6 Extremes Een Thunder Body. Hearing the merit points required for the 6 Extremes Een Thunder Body from the repository keeper, Song Gil, I feel like my eyes might pop out. 1,000 merit points, you say? Indeed. The 6 Extremes Een Thunder Body is an outstanding method developed ambitiously by the geniuses of the Black Ghost Valley to counter the Taiji quaking lighting body of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect. It provides resistance against the power of thunder and lightning, which is almost the antithesis of the Ghost Path method, and offers considerable resistance against vanquishing evil and upholding righteousness methods. It also provides immense benefits when dealing with other ghostly entities using Een Lightning. Theoretically, it's a method without weaknesses. In the records of the Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect, it's harshly criticized as a paper tiger that crumbles before the Taiji quaking lightning body. Honestly, Seo Li's body has already mastered the Taiji quaking lightning body. Originally, it was Yuan Yu's body, and it had once been forcibly elevated to the heavenly being stage by Yun Wei with the Taiji quaking lightning body. So is it necessary to bother learning the 6 Extremes Een Thunder Body, which supposedly crumbles before the Taiji quaking lightning body? After some contemplation, I decide to give it a try. 1,000 merit points, it better be worth it. Having completed many missions after becoming a heavenly being stage elder, I have accumulated a considerable amount of merit points. I receive the 6 Extremes Een Thunder Body and begin practicing it, merging it with Great Desert to Dead Sea. How much time has passed? I ponder quietly while focusing within my heart essence. Thinking about it, I have never sat in meditation for such a long time before. This feels unfamiliar. I have always practiced dynamic cultivation, severing mountain swordsmanship, formless sword, and various other methods. I have always trained in motion, growing stronger. In contrast, I rarely practiced static cultivation. How long has it been since I forced myself into deep contemplation within my heart essence? I focus my consciousness and sense my heart essence, feeling the formless sword. My body has already opened the path to the formless sword. Martial arts cannot be separated from the physical body, and because of that, Xiao Huiol could use the formless sword through my body. Of course, this will become impossible as I solidify my heart essence. I will completely take over the formless sword and my heart essence. No one else can touch it. It belongs to me alone. Only I achieved it, and only I can wield this sword. This is my sword. As I expanded this concept, I realized I can connect my heart essence to the canvas of myriad forms and connections and regain control over my physical body. But I chose not to. Let's not be hasty. Reflecting on my life, I realized I had always been in a rush. There was always too much to do. To keep up with geniuses, to claw out even the smallest of gains amidst a harsh fate. Taking even a moment's rest was a luxury. Thus, I had to be in a hurry. For me, effort meant urgency. Not being urgent, taking a rest was a great luxury and a sin. It's not a sin. It isn't evil either. Humans are neither inherently good nor evil at birth. What humans should seek is not good or evil, but growth. Is it fine to die in the evening if one discovers the Tao in the morning? Humans always live this way. They die in the evening and are reborn in the morning, progressing step by step every day. Living life itself teaches us many things. The notion that only through relentless effort can one achieve something might be my arrogance. The belief that only I, who put in the effort, can improve might deny everyone else who doesn't strive as hard as I do. So, let's not be hasty. Slowly but surely, I will grasp what I can. I solidify my control over the formless sword and my heart essence. Connecting with its essence, I gradually aim to fully grasp the formless sword. 50 years pass. Quarung Kurururum. Enduring the heavenly tribulation, I finally reached the grand perfection heavenly being stage anew. A strange feeling. The new formula for the grand perfection heavenly being stage is quite long, and very simple as well. Yet, its simplicity makes it feel just as powerful as it is long. However, I feel a peculiar sensation. If I were to attain a true orthodox Axis foundation, it might be incompatible with this formula. I wonder if this really is the correct formula. Though curious, it isn't odd enough to dwell on, so I stabilize my cultivation. Now, the only thing left is advancing to the 4-axis stage. I can definitely reach it before the storage scroll of Lofty Dragon True Person opens. With confidence, I continue my cultivation. Speaking of which, I suddenly feel something is amiss. Kong Min, he should have come out of the side path by now, shouldn't she? But Kong Min, he hasn't emerged yet. Feeling strange, I head to her office at the Ghost Soul Hall to question her clone. Do you know what happened to your main body? Kong Min's clone, puffing on a pipe, replies. Seems you don't know, being secluded for 50 years. What? I'm startled by her continued words. There were attackers from the Nether Ghost realm and the Bloodine realm. Those who were outside and active knew about it. But you didn't, I see. I had no idea. Stop staying locked up in cultivation all the time and make some friends. To hear that from Kong Min, she's advising me despite only having one friend, Kim Yun, back on Earth. It's quite amusing. So, the Grand Elder is currently resting in the side path. That's right. Normally, she'd have to come out to the bright cold realm once every 50 years to get some fresh air. Well, listening to the other Black Grand Elders, with my talent, I can stay sane in the side path for not just 50, but 100 years. I think so too. I see. I feel a slight unease. Even so, wouldn't it be better to come out to the bright cold realm to rest? If someone from the Nether Ghost realm were to attack the side path. It's fine. The Nether Ghost realm attacker last time came through a different side path to the bright cold realm, then re-entered our side path in the bright cold realm to attack me. Normally, there's no way for an attacker from the Nether Ghost realm to come through our side path. But the Grand Elder isn't a deceased. That's true, but I'm more accustomed to ghostly energy than most deceased. I grow worried as I watch her brush everything off with a nonchalant "I'm fine." Ghost guiding Holy Mother. I still remember vividly. Her appearance, leading a horde of millions of ghosts, screaming madly, wielding her ghost claws, and splitting the wonderfully mysterious fortress in half. When will your main body return? She'll probably be back in the bright cold realm in about 30 years. I see. Then, I should help take care of her mind with the Sea of Righteousness and Mountain of Grace at that time. Although I used the spirit-sealing bodkin to mend her spirit, lessening my worries about the ghost guiding Holy Mother compared to my previous life, I still can't completely shake off the ominous feeling. Deciding to wait for her return, I return my cave residence. Wait. Suddenly, I feel a strange sensation and adjust my stance. Wawung. I conjure a gang sphere in the void, rotating and merging it. I attempt to create the formless sword, but at some point, the formless sword that is forming above my hand disintegrates back into natural energy. What's happening? For some reason, the formless sword is no longer manifesting. The formless sword is created by shaping the gang sphere into a form and reflecting my heart essence to manifest it into existence. But oddly, my heart essence is no longer reflecting. Damn it, what's going on? Sweating, I try several times to manifest the formless sword again, and I fail every time. Lying halfway up Glass Sword Mountain, I close my eyes and focus my will on my hand. Above my hand, the three great ultimates are rotating. Curiously, the more I grasp the formless sword and make my heart essence more solidly mine, the more I begin to witness a certain phenomenon. My will, naturally divides into three parts, forming the three great ultimates. 3. With a martial artist's intuition, I feel that the number 3 is more significant than the concept of the great ultimate, Taiji. Recalling the feeling of being completed as myself when I first formed the three great ultimates, I focus my consciousness even more. The formless sword, the plane of soul. I approach the essence of myself, grasping the essence of the heart. Sheen. More. Hayat. Rotating the three great ultimates transformed from the formless sword above my hand. I feel like I am beginning to understand something. Did the separation from my main body cause this? But I can't jump to conclusions. After much deliberation, I decided to use Sea of Righteousness and Mountain of Grace. Since the Sea of Righteousness and Mountain of Grace is part of the Severing Mountain swordsmanship, not the formless sword, there's no issue in using it. Yes, this should work. As long as I can use the Sea of Righteousness and Mountain of Grace, I am confident I can stabilize Kong Minhee's mind. That's what I thought. 30 years pass. Kong Minhee, who was in the side path, did not return. And at some point, her clone also vanished from her office. What do you mean? At my outburst, Hyogwak and the other Black Grand Elders cough awkwardly. The side path is blocked. Isn't managing the side path the main objective? Hyogwak clears his throat and speaks. It seems Grand Elder Kong Minhee did something inside the side path, Grand Elder Seo. I, too, have earned the title of Grand Elder of Black Ghost Valley over the past 80 years. Being a talent on the verge of reaching the 4-axis stage in less than 100 years since entering the Black Ghost Valley, I was recognized as a significant asset. Is it impossible to open the side path? We've tried using our sect's spells and artifacts, and even cooperated with the senior 4-axis Ghost Kings in the Grand Tomb Domain and the Black Grand Elders of the sect. However, all our attempts failed. It's not a matter of strength, but a structural issue. It's firmly sealed from the inside, making it impossible to open. So, there really is no way. I ask, feeling a deep sense of unease. There is one method we can try. At Hyogwak's words, I look at him with bright eyes and ask, what method is that? There's a place far from the human race territory in the bright cold realm, called the Swiftwind Domain. It's said to be a place where the Een energy is so strong that it can create another side path. If we create another side path there, and then cross from side path to side path, we might be able to pull out Grand Elder Kong. Is it possible to cross from one side path to another? Yes, if they are created with the same power. Both the side path here and the one we create there will be based on the power of the Nether crossing ship, so we should be able to cross. I see. By the way, did you say Swiftwind Domain? Yes. Swiftwind Domain. I feel like I heard that name somewhere before. If I use the canvas of myriad forms and connections, I could remember right away, damn it. The canvas of myriad forms and connections is imprinted on the colorless glass sword, which is currently with my main body as it's transforming into Seo Huiol. As I rack my brain, I get the feeling I heard the name Swiftwind Domain somewhere before. Swiftwind Domain. It's next to the Dead Earth Domain, where the storage scroll of Lofty Dragon True Person is hidden. It's the place I'm supposed to meet with the mystical scared fish commanding sect members in 420 years, before heading to the Dead Earth Domain. This is actually good news. I can create a side path in the Swiftwind Domain and meet up with the mystical scaled fish commanding sect members at the promised time before heading to the Dead Earth Domain. Moreover, since the Black Ghost Valley's fleet is nearby, I can receive help in case of an emergency. But what is this feeling? I feel an inexplicable sense of foreboding about the Swiftwind Domain. I can't pinpoint why. Within the darkness. Inside Seo Eunhyun's cave residence. A gentle smile graces Seo Eunhyun's face as he is surrounded by the faintly rising misty fog of the canvas of myriad forms and connections. With a warm smile, Seo Eunhyun, or rather, Seo Huiol, who has taken over his body, prods at the mist. It's a technique similar in principle to my tainted soul-killing life. This is subject to change, as it's not clear if it's fate or life. He strokes his chin thoughtfully, looking at the misty fog. As expected, this is dangerous. If I delve in recklessly, I might get brainwashed by Daoist Seo in reverse. It must be frustrating for Daoist Seo to have created such a terrifying technique and not be able to use it properly, only to suffer from me. Da was Seo. Now then, Kugaguk. Seo Huiol's finger pierces the misty fog of the canvas of myriad forms and connections. Let's find the pillar of this technique, shall we? If it's similar to my tainted soul-killing life, finding the source pillar should reveal the hidden secrets. With a sly smile, he speaks to Seo Eunhyun, who should be listening inside his body. I'll borrow a bit of your body's talent, Daoist Seo. With the talent of your body, finding the pillar of this spell should be an easy task. A technique to trace the source of another technique using their physical talent. Art of Tainted Soul-Killing Sight, Juohun Saomuk. By Seo Huiol's standards, someone with talents capable of producing integration stage strength at the heavenly being stage should be able to find the pillar in one go. To use your own talent to reveal your biggest secret. How pitiful. Ha ha. Seo Huiol laughs. And Seo Eunhyun, deep in concentration within his heart essence, doesn't pay attention to his words. Translator notes, 6 extremes in Thunder Spirit change to body. Chapter 309, for Seo, towards Seo 4. Join the Discord for chapter updates and important news. Chapter 309, for Seo, towards Seo 4. 320 years have passed. There are 100 years left until Lofty Dragon True Person's storage scroll opens. Finally, I have reached the 4-axis stage. Kugagugagugu. Dark, ghostly energy engulfs me. Kurung, Kururum. Dark clouds begin to gather in the sky, with golden heavenly tribulation churning within. Based on the heavenly circle, the foundation of the earthly bearings is formed. The 4 realms, Fijate, flow within the heavenly circle that was formed during the heavenly being stage. Then, with the 5 great mountains formed during the nascent soul stage, the attribute of one's innate true method is placed in the center of the 5 great mountains. The other 4 attributes are positioned in the 4 directions. The mountains thus created serve as pillars connecting heaven and earth. The 4 pillars connect to the 4 realms in the sky, channeling the power of the heavens. Wawung. The halo of the heavenly circle, floating behind the upper dantian of the nascent soul, descends to the lower dantian, forming a similar round circle. By embedding the 4 axes into this lower dantian circle, it transforms into a square. This completes the heavenly circle and earthly bearings. That is the practice of the 4-axis stage. Kururum. As the foundation of the earthly bearings begin to form, golden beams of light rumble from the sky. The heavenly tribulation encountered when transitioning from the late heavenly being stage to grand perfection is 20 streaks. And the heavenly tribulation encountered when rising from the heavenly being stage to the 4-axis stage is generally known to be 25 streaks. Kururum. The sky pours down a torrential rain of light. However, I raise my head towards the sky. Kugagugagu. Ghostly energy envelopes my body. Ghost King transformation through Ghost Guiding Kue Devilish Secrets results in just an ordinary Ghost King. But the Ghost King transformation made with Great Desert to Dead Sea is different. It's a method that fully utilizes the power of death covering my soul. That is Great Desert to Dead Sea. Kadudududuk. Kaduduk. Around my head, skulls made of ghostly energy begin to emerge. My body gradually transforms into a ghostly body, with ghost claws on my hands and prayer beads on my feet. My original face also begins to wither and transform into something resembling a skull. I become an 18-skull head Ghost King. That is me. Oh, a ghostly wail scorches the surroundings. Energy surges everywhere, and ghosts in the Black Ghost Valley begin to scream. Woo. The framework of the earthly bearings formed within my body continuously circulates energy, converting it into life force. My demon beast senses become more distinct and clear, and my understanding of life is firmly grasped in my hands. I can more clearly feel the circulation of heaven and earth spiritual energy, and my consciousness expands and becomes sharper. Kururum. A golden waterfall descends upon me, but I am not flustered. I open my 18 mouths. Oh, each of the 18 heads begin to sing. It's the song of death. Dark energy surge, weakening the heavenly tribulation. Simultaneously, black lightning begins to emanate beyond the energy. It's the 6 extremes, thunder body. Quagajijik. Beneath my feet, the black lightning converges, and the forms of 6 ghosts emerge as if they are shadows. These are not actual ghosts, but symbols of curses, each representing one of the 6 extremes: violent death, disease, jibing, worry, poverty, evil, and weakness, roa. Among them, the ghost symbolizing violent death is particularly larger than the others. The ghosts join hands and begin to circle around me, singing the song of death. Gradually, the lightning generated around the ghosts begin to counter the heavenly tribulation. And finally, Wai Yang. Above my head, the symbol of Taiji appears and begins to absorb the weakened heavenly tribulation. It's the Taiji quaking lightning body. Although I can't use it openly within the confines of the Black Ghost Valley, refining the heavenly lightning in secret while enduring the heavenly tribulation is something no one will notice. An eternity seems to pass, and at last, Kururum, I overcome the last streak of heavenly tribulation. Flash, Kururum, light bursts from my body, frantically absorbing the surrounding heaven and earth spiritual energy. It isn't just because of great desert to Dead Sea. My body, absorbing the nearby heaven and earth spiritual energy, gradually harmonizes with the surrounding spiritual veins. This is unification with the great earth, Dadik. In the minor realm, rituals have always been made to the heavens. However, from the four-axis stage, the target of rituals is no longer the heavens. It's not the sky, but the earth. In other words, it's about offering ceremonies to the plane of Qi. From this stage onwards, there are at most only slight differences in the methods. It's said that there is almost no difference between the cultivation methods of the Heaven tribe and the Earth tribe. Of course, the Heaven tribe aims to influence the plane of fate by offering rituals to the plane of Qi. The Earth tribe, on the other hand, focuses more on the plane of Qi itself, but the methods are almost identical. The body, harmonizing with the earth, absorbs heaven and earth spiritual energy while simultaneously affecting the surrounding area. Ku. The surrounding land is dyed black with ghostly energy. Ghosts howl and cackle everywhere. Ghostly wails echo between the heavens and earth. The entire land becomes a place suitable for ghosts to live. Cultivators at the four-axis stage can either leave the land in this transformed state or restore it to its original state. Now, they have the basic authority to command the natural world. Kuguguguk. I gather my strength and draw the ghostly energy filling the heavens and earth back into my body. Ho! I stand up, streaming ghost fire from my 36 eyes. From the four-axis stage, the bodies of demon beasts grow stronger and larger. However, for the Heaven tribe, their bodies begin to transform according to the ideal state, led by their cultivation method. While brief body transformations are possible during the heavenly being stage, they are akin to illusion spells, shallow and superficial. But it's different in the four-axis stage. The true form, Bunshun, is genuinely transformed. Of course, one can return to their original body, but the more they draw upon the power of their cultivation method, the more they transform into another form. Now, my true form is no longer human but that of an 18-headed ghost king. After observing my form for a moment, I return back to my human body. Returning to my original appearance in black robes, I extend my hand towards the void. Kuguguguk. An attraction force emits from my hand and space begins to twist. From the four-axis stage, the power of celestial energy guidance obtained during the heavenly being stage evolves into attraction force. Attraction arises from the earth. Thus it is gained from the four-axis stage where one attains enlightenment of the earth. This attraction force grows stronger and larger as one advances, allowing one to perform techniques like ground shrinking during the four-axis stage. Furthermore, at the integration stage, it becomes possible to twist and compress space without interfering with planes, creating subspaces with attraction alone. At the star-shattering stage, it enables one to leap distances equivalent to several light years by bending vast spacetime. And at the sacred vessel stage, attraction can twist the orbits of stars within the astral realm and control the flow of the middle realm at will. From the entering nirvana stage onward, attraction force rises to the plane of fate, allowing for the distortion of spacetime and slight interference with fate. Kuguguk. I generate attraction force as I grasp the air. At this point, I can't use a very strong attraction force. Even performing ground shrinking is possible only from the mid-four-axis stage, unless one has exceptional talent or has learned unique cultivation methods. What I can gain from attraction force in the early four-axis stage is just one thing. Kugugugugugu. As soon as I generate attraction force at the plane of Qi, an enormous amount of heaven and earth spiritual energy begins to pour into me. From the four-axis stage, the unit of heaven and earth spiritual energy one can handle changes through attraction force. The heavenly being stage merely blurs the boundary between the internal and external, handling external heaven and earth spiritual energy. At most, they perform celestial energy guidance. But from the four-axis stage, attraction force allows one to gather and command far more heaven and earth spiritual energy than in the heavenly being stage. Kuguguguk. Life force surges through my entire body. I read the celestial energy that my lifespan has increased to 10,000 years and take a deep breath. Finally, I've reached the four-axis stage. Combining the Heaven tribe's methods with the Mad Lord circuits, I possess the power of the late four-axis stage. Losing the formless sword weakened me too much. At some point, I became unable to reflect heart essence into my energy. Perhaps it's because I'm completely separated from my main body. Or maybe It might also be because Seo Huiol has taken over the main body. Since Seo Huiol does not understand anything about emotions, heart, or martial arts, the chances are high that he could not properly handle the formless sword and might have lost it. Although I have severed the connection with my main body, we share the same fundamental foundation. So if there's a problem with the main body's heart essence, I can't use the formless sword. If I want to use the formless sword again, there's only one way. Completely severing the connection with Seo Eunhyun and being reborn as the entirely separate personality, Seo Lee. If that happens, I'll be able to use the formless sword again. But that will be meaningless. I am Seo Lee. But at the same time, I am Seo Eunhyun. There's no need to go out of my way to become an independent me outside of the frame of Seo Eunhyun. Well, it doesn't matter much. Regardless, once I obtain useful things from the Lofty Dragon True Person storage scroll, the gap in power will be bridged. Moreover, Seo Huiol will need another 600 years to escape the seal, so there's still time. I feel like the speed at which I am mastering methods and raising my cultivation is accelerating. At this pace, I might be able to aim for the integration stage within a few hundred years. If I hadn't wasted time from the beginning and focused solely on devilish arts, I might have already reached the star-shattering stage by now. Not that devilish arts are good. Leaving aside the hideous transformation of my true form, I still can't shake off my hatred and anger towards Yuan Li, nor the fury and loathing towards devilish arts. Even Great Desert to Dead Sea, which had been modified to be less devilish, makes me shudder with disgust at times during cultivation. Nevertheless, knowing the usefulness of devilish arts, it won't be bad to continue modifying and learning them, and focusing on those that don't require sacrificing others. While I'm lost in thought, Master, congratulations on reaching a new realm. Ah, it's Hong Fan. Upon receiving Hong Fan's message, I take a step forward from my spot. Above a mountain peak that I am not very familiar with. The wind howls fiercely below, creating an eerie sound. This is the Swiftwind Domain. The Black Ghost Valley is working on opening a side path in Swiftwind Domain to rescue Kong Min-hee, a once-in-a-100,000-year genius possessing the ghostly Een transformation immortal root. Naturally, I volunteered to help create the side path and aid in Kong Min-hee's rescue. After absorbing the Een energy of Swiftwind Domain and diligently cultivating for several hundred years, I have reached the 4-axis stage. I'm heading there now. Be prepared. Yes, thank you. Kuguguguk. Generating attraction force, I stomp my foot on the ground. Pong. I set the target point with attraction and pull myself towards it. This allows me to fly without using the flying escape technique. How long have I flown through the sky? I finally reach where Hong Fan is waiting. Wying. The treacherous peaks of Swiftwind Domain. There's a basin surrounded by those peaks in a circular formation. Hong Fan is sitting in the center of the basin, stroking his beard with his shriveled body. Are you ready? Yes, Master. Hong Fan, after 300 years, has transitioned from the nascent soul stage to the grand perfection heavenly being stage and has completed his preparations to rise to the 4-axis stage. No matter how talented I am in devilish arts, I don't think I can compare to Hong Fan. Then let's begin. Huang. As I stomp my foot, the basin hums and turns into a desert of sand. Earthen totems appear everywhere, their mouths open towards the sky. The totems serve as lightning rods to disperse the heavenly lightning. Please observe the celestial energy. Now is the right time. The ladle, ox, and rooftop stars have risen to the sky. Thank you. Then I'll begin. Kugugugugu. Hong Fan reveals his true form. A massive centipede oozing black poison appears before my eyes. Hong Fan's true form has become so enormous that each segment is comparable to a 3-story building. In his true form, he alone could encircle the entire capital of Yanghua. Chi 3. The surrounding land becomes contaminated by his poison in an instant. Knowing the danger of inhaling Hong Fan's poison, I step back. And then, his breakthrough begins. Kururum. Flash. The sky shines as golden heavenly lightning pours down. Even this time, Hong Fan's heavenly lightning is on an unimaginable scale. Although it doesn't strike with both golden and blue lightning like with the Enders, the lightning that strikes Hong Fan is far greater than that which hits ordinary cultivators of the same realm. Zeum. Hong Fan endures the tribulation within the pillar of light. The formation I have set up beforehand slightly scatters the heavenly lightning for him, but Hong Fan still appears to struggle. Quasizizik. As the heavenly lightning peaks, I operate the Taiji quaking lightning body to trap part of Hong Fan's tribulation within the Taiji. Kururum. As if angered, more heaven and earth spiritual energy gathers. But I smile, releasing just a thread of the tribulation back to Hong Fan. As Hong Fan touches the thread of the heavenly tribulation, the sky ceases its attempt to strengthen the tribulation. It's a sort of trick. While fully assisting with the heavenly tribulation isn't allowed, trapping it and releasing it bit by bit is barely within the permissible range. Of course, there's a set limit. and exceeding it. Or if more than one person attempts such a trick, the heavenly tribulation will ultimately grow stronger. But even that is enough for Hong Fan to survive. He expresses his gratitude to me in that fleeting moment. Chiyuri. Hong Fan spews clouds of poison and gathers energy towards himself, and finally overcomes the tribulation. And then, at a certain point, flash, the tribulation ends, and Hong Fan finally unifies with the earth. Kugagugugug. Poison fills the ground. After a while, Hong Fan retrieves his poison and moves his body. Clack, clack, clack. Soon, his carapace begins to fall off as he starts shedding his skin. Chi. Hong Fan, having shed his skin, transforms into an even darker black centipede exuding thicker poison. Seeming to savor the poison energy for a moment, Hong Fan then reverts his body back to his human form. I slowly approach Hong Fan, who is inhaling and exhaling poison. Are you alright, Hong Fan? Having been in the poison for a while, Hong Fan absorbs it completely. Then, his figure emerges from the poison cloud. I am slightly surprised at Hong Fan's appearance. Hong Fan, your appearance. Hong Fan has become younger. Not as drastic as going from an old man to a young man, but his white hair has hints of black, and his wrinkled skin has improved. Moreover, his completely hunched back has straightened a bit, making him appear taller. Though I felt a slight change when he rose from nascent soul to heavenly being. Back then, his wrinkled appearance improved slightly, and he only looked a bit more vigorous. But now, the change is evident. If he went from 100 years old to 90 years old when rising from nascent soul to heavenly being, it now feels like he went from 90 to 80 years old. Is he getting younger every time he rises in cultivation? His appearance reminds me of a phrase like the curious case of Hong Fan. Hong Fan inhales deeply before replying. I feel great. I feel very refreshed. Now that I've reached the 4-axis stage, my perception has broadened, and I feel capable of creating even more potent and varied poisons. Good. That's fortunate. Seeing Hong Fan, I feel a strong sense of reassurance. With the poisons Hong Fan can create, even integration stage cultivators will find them effective. Therefore, I'm not afraid even if I have to fight the main body. Hong Fan has also reached the 4-axis stage. Now, the remaining task is to stabilize the side path quickly. Right now, Heo Guak and Heo Ryong have entered the side path to quickly stabilize it. Soon, we will be able to contact Kong Minhee again, a few days after reaching the 4-axis stage. Finally, a message arrives from Heo Guak and Heo Ryong. TSSDSSDSD, the newly established base of Black Ghost Valley in Swiftwind Domain. At the docking port of the Nether Crossing ship at Black Ghost Valley's Swiftwind Domain branch. Inside my cave residence there, a projection of Heo Guak appears. TSSDSSDSD. A ghostly spirit shaped like Heo Guak, made of ghostly energy, appears before me. Oh, you've really reached 4-axis. To reach the 4-axis stage from the nascent soul stage in just 400 years, if not for Grand Elder Kong, you would have been hailed as the greatest talent of Black Ghost Valley. It's a pity. If it weren't for the current situation, I would have celebrated such a great achievement for the sect, but given the circumstances, that seems difficult. I hope you understand. Heo Guak expresses amazement at my advancement. I bow respectfully and reply, it's nothing. Given the situation where a fellow Taoist of the sect might be in danger, it's only natural. But the reason you contacted me is, yes, the side path has been fully stabilized. Originally, we were going to request support from the human race branch, but since you've reached the 4-axis stage, it's no longer necessary. Understood. After exchanging a few words, we immediately enter the Nether Crossing ship. Within the Nether Crossing ship, in the office of the Ghost Soul Hall's Hall Master, we stand in front of a diagram that leads to the path drawn by the Ghost Soul Hall Master. Stand here and operate your ghostly energy as instructed. Understood. All right then, shall we proceed? I form hand seals and operate my ghostly energy. In an instant, I transform into a Ghost King with 18 heads. As I assume the form of the Ghost King, the side path becomes even clearer. The diagram drawn inside the Nether Crossing ship is just for fixing the coordinates. The real diagram is drawn in the outskirts of the Netherworld, visible through nether perception. As I form hand seals towards the diagram drawn with the power of death, they move to form a gate. Naturally, I reach out towards this gate. The structure of the gate, the forces used to create it, and the method to construct it all flows into my mind. Now that I've reached the 4-axis stage, the structure of the side path isn't that complicated. I know how to handle attraction force and the ghost path method. The side path is a way that traverses the outer areas of the netherworld. I intuitively feel that by following this way, I can create side paths connecting to the Ancient Force Realm and Purple Gold Realm. Black Ghost Valley hasn't created side paths connecting to other middle realms simply because there's no reason to. Creak. Upon opening the gate, a dense ashen world appears. I step onto a path seemingly made purely of darkness in this ashen world. A space with nothing except the path of darkness and the ashen sky. I walk along the path through this space. How long have I walked? Step, step. After a while, I notice two figures in the distance. One is a ghost king with 8 spears protruding from its body, and the other has 4 sails sprouting from its shoulders. The 2 ghost kings are occupying the space there. They are standing on the ashen emptiness, not on the path, but black roads extend from where they stand and connect to the path I am on. Sir Heo Guak, Sir Heo Rang, you've arrived. Incredible, truly incredible. Even if you're not as great as Grand Elder Kong, reaching the 4-axis stage in just 400 years, you are truly a rare genius, one that appears only once in several generations. The Ghost King with spears is Heo Rang. The Ghost King with sails is Heo Guak. Both praise me with pure admiration. After some words of praise, they point to a spot. Focus on your nether perception. Find the darkness with the same aura as this path. Grand Elder Kong should be there. We'll give you about 7 days and nights, so concentrate on your nether perception. Following their instructions, I sense the aura of the darkness beneath me. It's a familiar aura, the familiar energy of the nether crossing ship. Concentrating my nether perception in the ashen world, I find the identical darkness. Wu-wong. It's a strange feeling, as if the ashen world has folded into my hand. Observing the shrunken ashen world in my hand, I easily locate the side path where Kong Min-hee is. It's very simple. Isn't it just a matter of finding the path made of the nether crossing ship's darkness, like where we are standing? I found it. Wait already? Astonishment spreads across the ghostly faces of the 2 black Grand Elders. Heo Ryong touches the spears on his body and exclaims, "Even I need a day of concentration inside the side path to find it, and you found it in mere seconds? It must have been a coincidence. Whether it was a coincidence or not, we will see. For now, let's use our attraction force to draw the side path together." Understood. We each extend our hands and unique, ghostly features. Heo Ryong extends the spears protruding from his body. Heo Guak adjusts the direction of his sails, and I extend my 18 faces. We focus our consciousness and exert our attraction force towards a single point. Kuguguguk. As the 3-4-axis stage cultivators exert attraction force, we feel an immense power bending the space. Release ghostly energy. Connect the side path. Simultaneously, we release our ghostly energy. The black path wriggles as if responding to our power of death, extending from where we stand towards the distant point. And at a certain moment, pat it. I cross space and see another side path beyond where we are standing. Is that where I need to connect this side path? Thinking so, I supplement my ghostly power. However, the 2 elders make bewildering remarks. Do you see Grand Elder Kang's side path? No, I don't see it. Let's exert more attraction force. What? Isn't it visible there? Feeling puzzled, I point to one side. It seems visible there. I see nothing. Did you see it wrong? I've specifically mastered ghost path methods specialized for detection, so my nether perception is even stronger than that of other ghost kings. Even I can't see it. If you've mastered power-specialized methods like Ghost Immortal Kuei Devilish Secrets or 6 Extremes Een Thunder Body, there's no way you can see it. Let's exert more attraction force. Heo Ryong and Heo Guak shake their heads as they speak, and Heo Guak, in particular, spreads his detection-specialized sails even wider as he talks. I don't understand Heo Guak's words, but I decide to just go along with it and quietly release more attraction force. After a while, the side path leading to Kong Min-hee is almost right in front of us. Only then does Heo Guak exclaim as if he has discovered the side path, and he connects our side path to it. And it seems that Heo Ryong only notices the side path after it's fully connected, nodding his head in acknowledgement. Heo Ryong looks at me and says, "I don't know what you saw earlier, but be careful. While this is still the outskirts of the netherworld, it's even deeper than the usual places we observe with our nether perception. For the living, it's too deep, so nether perception doesn't function well. It's normal to barely see a foot ahead here. Although it seems quiet now, it's hard to guarantee what kind of beings might be lurking around. In the worst case, you might end up falling into the nether crossing river by mistake. Next time, don't be too quick to react just because you see something. Yes, I'll be careful. I don't think I was mistaken." I click my tongue inwardly as I cross over to Kong Min-hee's side path. "Now you go that way. We'll go this way." I momentarily furrow my brow. It feels like Kong Min-hee is in the direction the Grand Elders are heading. Instinctively, I feel that way. I want to go, but knowing they wouldn't like me interfering, I decide to let them handle it for now. I head towards the bright cold realm, while they move towards the nether ghost realm. Once the Grand Elders are out of sight, I try to turn back. It's then. What's this? I feel a strange sensation. The direction I am heading is definitely towards the bright cold realm. Then, turning back should mean heading towards the nether ghost realm. But, even when I turn around, it still feels like I am heading towards the bright cold realm. The energy of the bright cold realm is unmistakably felt. What is this exactly? Feeling confused, I turn back again, but I fail to understand it. This way is also towards the bright cold realm. Whichever direction I head, it all leads to the bright cold realm. In my confusion, I decide to keep walking. How long have I walked? In the distance, I see a gigantic presence at the end of the path. That's on the straight and narrow black path. There's a place where the side path suddenly widens. No, rather than a side path, it's more fitting to call it a basin. And above that basin, there, like a colossal mountain, is a giant, ghostly creature. It's Kong Minhee, sitting with her body curled up. No way. Feeling my heart tighten with anxiety, I slowly approach Kong Minhee. Translator notes. MC was referring to the movie The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Chapter 310, For CO, Towards CO, 5. Chapter 310, For CO, Towards CO, 5. Could it be, ghost guiding Holy Mother? I approach her with a trembling voice. It's then, blink. A huge eye suddenly appears where I am approaching, illuminating me. Instinctively, I realize it belongs to Kong Minhee. At that moment, whining, the side path I am standing on suddenly widens. And then, a familiar voice is heard. Why are you here? Huh. When I come to my senses, I find myself surrounded by clouds bathed in golden sunset. This is... Startled, I blurt out words, realizing that I am speaking with my physical voice instead of spiritual communication. When I turn around at the sense of someone's presence, I see Kong Minhee sitting atop the clouds. Domain. Only then do I understand why Kong Minhee, who should have been on the side path towards the nether ghost realm, appeared before me heading towards the bright cold realm. I realize why I always ended up heading towards the bright cold realm no matter where I went. Kong Minhee had, in a mere 300 years, reached the integration stage and bent space with attraction force. And Kong Minhee, who invited me into her unique integration stage domain, is dressed not in the familiar black robes of the Black Ghost Valley, but in her business suit from Earth. Seeing Kong Minhee reveal Earth's culture in front of me, I hastily touch my face. What? I regain my memories. As expected of my pathetic ex-boyfriend, you sealed away my memories, turned into something resembling a woman, and stalked me all this time. It's really disgusting, Co Eunhyun. And no, that wasn't my intention. No, more than that, rather than Co Lee being a woman. As I stammer from the shock, she laughs, taking a familiar liquid e-cigarette out of her pocket. I'm joking. I was annoyed when I got my memories back, but I wasn't really that angry. Oh, but it's true that I was disgusted. You might have your reasons, but it was still very perverted and creepy. I break out in a cold sweat. This is the retribution for staying by her side in Yuan Yu's body. I can't seem to recall the taste from back then, even if I do roughly remember. After taking a puff of her e-cigarette, she waves her hand. Simultaneously, the earthly artifact she enjoyed dissolves like illusions, turning into clouds and being absorbed everywhere. Her clothes also change back to the black robe of the Black Ghost Valley she originally wore. I look around at Kong Minhee's unique domain. Not knowing what to say, I first praise the scenery. It's beautiful here. But Kong Minhee glares at me, rolling her eyes. Don't you remember this scene? What? Even though the spot we're standing on being made of clouds is a bit of my romantic touch, the rest of the scenery is something we saw together. You're too much. No. Damn it. The canvas of myriad forms and connections is with the main body. Grinding my teeth inwardly, I break out into cold sweat. Seeing my flustered appearance, Kong Minhee bursts into laughter. It's fun teasing you. It's like all my gloom has flown away. We exchange trivial chatter for a while. And as the atmosphere eases, I cautiously ask, why didn't you come back from the side path? Well, I found out the horrifying truth that my ex-boyfriend turned into a strange creature that's neither male nor female and was stalking me within the sect. Just kidding. Well, there's a bit of truth to that, maybe about 0.1%. The rest is... Kong Minhee walks over to me and sweeps the nearby clouds. As she brushes the clouds, a boisterous sound comes from somewhere. It's the sound of children's laughter. To comfort these kids. Only then do I realize that the surrounding clouds aren't just clouds. Actually, they aren't clouds at all. Each and every grain that looks like clouds is a ghost. I've never died before, so I don't know for sure. But do you know what I always hear when I communicate with ghosts? Sorrow. They're always sad. Sad about losing their lives, about being dead, about the things they couldn't achieve. Kong Minhee squats down and gently strokes the ghosts with her hand. When you're on the side path, there's nothing to do. During those times, I either read books I brought from the bright cold realm or practiced the ghost path method. Practicing the ghost path method might sound funny, but it involves listening to these kids' stories. As I listen to their stories, my spiritual power increases. She continues, do you know how many stories I've listened to? How many? I don't know. Really, there were too many to count. I kept listening and listening. And, at some point, I started thinking. She smiles gently. For some reason, I feel that I had seen that smile before. I want to work for this company. I will think about what I can do for this company. I will do my best to work for the company as much as I can. I want to use my strength for these kids. I want to find out what I can do for them. If possible, I want to find out the best thing I can do for them. The memory of watching her during a job interview from the side. Yes, I had known that she was a strong person when I saw her confident demeanor. I also had a tough childhood. So, I want to do something for these kids who died in hardship. If there's a reason we've gained this power, wouldn't it be to use it for someone else? Indeed, she is still strong. Only those truly strong can use their power for the weak. So, is that why you didn't come back? Hee hee. Even the way you talk is like an ex-boyfriend, seriously. No. The reason I didn't return to the Black Ghost Valley is, I decided to leave it. What? I ask, taken aback. Kong Min-hee smiles boldly and replies. I confirmed that my ex-boyfriend crawled back, and more importantly, you know the Black Ghost Valley is only kind to its own members, right? Well, that's true, but... And they are too harsh on rival sects or those who become enemies. Her eyes darken. The harbor where the Nether Crossing ship is docked is always filled with ghostly water refined from countless resentful souls. You've seen it too, right? And when disciples of the Black Ghost Valley die, they either resurrect them or turn them into ghost souls to continue their cultivation. If those above the nascent soul stage die, they enshrine them as ghost kings and keep them in the Grand Tomb domain, treating them well. But, if they capture the souls of rival sects or enemies, they always refine them into Dharma treasures or absorb them to convert into spiritual power. If not, they refine them into serving ghost spirits, erasing their will and enslaving them. That's right. Though they are kind to their own members, the essence of the Black Ghost Valley is the devilish path. The expending soul true devil method involves consuming souls to convert into spiritual power, and the corpse-devouring secret ritual tome is even worse. They help a part of the soul reach the netherworld as minimum courtesy, but that's it. The souls captured by the Black Ghost Valley are relentlessly exploited until they are no longer useful, only then finding rest. I'm leaving the Black Ghost Valley. I'm going to leave this place, liberate all the souls captured by the Black Ghost Valley, comfort them, and guide them to the afterlife. That's the goal I came up with while listening to these kids' stories. You'll keep this a secret, won't you, ex-boyfriend? Kong Min-hee asks with a sly smile. I nod with a serious face. She's undergoing secluded cultivation. If she turns against the Black Ghost Valley, one of the 5 great sects of the human race, into enemies, the aftermath will be enormous. Hence, she's raising her cultivation before making her move. How high do you plan to raise your cultivation? For now, my goal is Grand Perfection Integration Stage. The Star-Shattering Stage seems too high a wall to reach, so I set a realistic goal. I see. Her words about ex-boyfriend and such are half-jokes. But her determination to liberate the souls from the devilish Black Ghost Valley is genuine. I finally realized the true reason she became the ghost-guiding Holy Mother. In the past life, you kept. She had continually strived to use her strength to liberate the souls. And as the torment of these souls poured into her already fractured mind, she could no longer endure and went berserk. In any case, my goal is to elevate my cultivation and let them spiritually ascend to the point where no ghost or soul appears before my eyes. That's my goal. I feel there's something she isn't telling me, but seeing the flickering intent in her eyes, I dare not ask what she is hiding. I just look at her with a stiffened face. Won't accepting so many ghosts cause problems for your mind? Well, I hate to admit it, but that thing you stuck on me. It works well. My mind is clear. Thanks to that, I don't think you need to worry. It's as she says. Originally, I intended to use the Sea of Righteousness and Mountain of Grace to alleviate any potential mental issues she might have. But to my eyes, she has no mental problems at all. Although I can't use the formless sword, the vision of tribulating heavens is still vivid. Her heart essence is without the slightest problem and is rather clear and healthy. Is it thanks to the spirit sealing Bodkin? At least for now. It seems there's no need to worry about her awakening as the ghost-guiding Holy Mother. I smile faintly. That's a relief. Because of her, I left the perfectly fine Black Ghost Valley branch and came all the way to the distant Swiftwind domain to create another side path. But I have no regrets. Just seeing Kong Min-hee in good health makes the whole trip worthwhile. Then I'll go? I just came to check if you're all right. Hee hee. You didn't come because you actually missed me, right? Think whatever you want. I'll really think whatever I want. Sure. I turn around and throw a mysterious bizarre goo I created from a part of my soul to her. It's a piece of my soul. If anything goes wrong, contact me right away. Through the art of the mysterious bizarre goo, if Kong Min-hee encounters any issues, I can use the Sea of Righteousness and Mountain of Grace remotely, albeit in a simplified form. It's a fragment left behind in preparation for her awakening as the ghost guiding Holy Mother. As soon as she receives my soul fragment, she nonchalantly throws it into some cloud and turns her back. All right, go on. I won't see you off. I'm saying it again, but keep it a secret. Got it. I walk in the opposite direction, and before long, I find myself out of Kong Minhee's domain. Before I know it, I'm back on the side path. The large ghostly figure of Kong Minhee that had been beside me had disappeared at some point. It seems she warped space and vanished to another location. I wander around for a while until I finally find the path we first took to enter Kong Minhee's side path. After waiting there for a few days, I see Heo Guak and Heo Ryong hurriedly coming this way. Grand Elder Seo, is Grand Elder Kong there? No. I went up to the entrance of the bright cold realm, but I couldn't find a single trace. As expected, actually, near the entrance of the Nether Ghost world, we found traces suggesting that Grand Elder Kong jumped out of the side path. Startled by their words, I ask again, What does that mean? Unless she's a powerful integration stage cultivator specialized in spatial techniques, she either fell into the Nether Crossing River or, if she escaped to the outskirts of the Netherworld, she likely got lost in the interdimensional void. She can return even if she becomes dimensionally lost, but it could take tens of thousands of years. In the worst-case scenario, she's trapped in the Nether Crossing River. If not, she's dimensionally lost. I act shocked and frozen. For now, let's return to the bright cold realm. We should propose to the Grand Elder Council to deploy the Nether Crossing ship and approach the vicinity of the Nether Crossing River. If she's fallen into the Nether Crossing River, we need to plan a rescue. We can't afford to lose the possessor of the ghostly Een transformation immortal root after tens of thousands of years. Heo Ryong grits his teeth and returns the way we came with me. We exit the side path. I emerge into the bright cold realm, dispel the Ghost King transformation, and look back at the side path. Stay strong, Kong Minhee. Kim Young-hoon seeks return. John Myung-hoon and Kim Yun seek revenge. Kong Minhee seeks salvation. Oh Hyun-suk seeks peace. Oh Hyeseo. Well, she'll live her life as she wants. Anyway, everyone has their own goals. Kong Minhee's goal, as long as she doesn't break down, I intend to support her. I step out from the Ghost Soul Hall in the Nether Crossing ship, which has the gate leading to the side path. It's then, Zing. Are you going to leave just like that, despite being tormented by fate? You should have done whatever it took to further stabilize Kong Minhee's mind before you left. Suddenly, I feel a voice resounding from deep within my heart essence that had been closed off in recent days. I stand still and listen intently, but the voice does not come again. In the end, it seems like a hallucination born from my lingering feelings for Kong Minhee. Towards her, it seems I still unknowingly have quite a bit of lingering attachment. In a domain bathed in the light of the setting sun. Inside, Kong Minhee picks up Seo Eun-hyun's soul fragment, holds it tightly, and smokes her pipe. Hey, that's a lie. There's something she hadn't told Seo Eun-hyun. The story of her shadow, and the hatred she felt towards herself for confusing the shadow with Seo Eun-hyun. Saying that Seo Eun-hyun's influence was only 0.1% was a lie. Along with that hatred, to ensure she never mistakes Seo Eun-hyun for the shadow again, to ensure she never confuses him with something of a ghost again, she had resolved to guide all the souls to the netherworld. If you had told me you missed me, maybe none of this would be necessary. Squeeze. She lets go of Seo Eun-hyun's mysterious bizarre goo she had been holding. As soon as she grabbed the mysterious bizarre goo, the weak sealing spell that had been placed on it was released. The mysterious bizarre goo does not hear her words. Kong Minhee merely mutters quietly to the mysterious bizarre goo. You dumb bastard. Perhaps the two of them are missing each other. But perhaps they are parting ways because they care for each other. For each other. Towards each other. The meeting of these two, who had been running while looking in different directions, thus ends awry. Now, all that remains is to leap towards their respective goals. After parting ways once again, 100 years have passed. The storage scroll of Lofty Dragon True Person has opened. Through the ritual worship scripture of wealth virtue, I succeeded in building one axis. Wawoom. I feel my lifespan increase by 10,000 years once again. Kurung. I look up at the sky, feeling the heavenly tribulation that had just passed over me. Having built one axis from none, I have reached the mid-4-axis stage. I will enter the storage scroll of Lofty Dragon True Person, assist the mystical scaled fish commanding sect, and receive compensation from them. And using that compensation, I will create a small, wonderfully mysterious fortress for Kim Yun. The reason Seo Huiol fears the Mad Lord is that if he becomes a puppet of the wonderfully mysterious fortress, even he will inevitably die. I have more than enough confidence to reach the integration stage within the remaining 500 years. Moreover, if Kong Minhee also overcomes her critical moment, I can work together with her who's also at the integration stage and capture Seo Huiol, who possesses the main body, and modify him. Then, using the small, wonderfully mysterious fortress, we will gradually replace his soul with an artificial soul and kill him. No matter how powerful Seo Huiol is, he will be doomed. That is my plan to kill Seo Huiol. Translator notes. For Seo, towards Seo has a one-character difference, Ru, in Korean, which makes it for each other, towards each other, because just za is Seo, but hu means each other. For Seo, towards Seo, utter sutter for each other, towards each other, sutter hang. Chapter 311. Have you been well? 1. Join the Discord for chapter updates and important news. Chapter 311. Have you been well? 1. Wai, a barren desert. A place filled with not golden sand, but strangely unpleasant gray sand. This is the Dead Earth Domain, CU, one of the regions within the Chaos Realm Jif. A group of faint lights appear there. They all wear black robes embroidered with golden thread, depicting an ascending flood dragon. The leader, a youth at the heavenly being stage, looks around with a faint smile. The member of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect, High in GWI, scans the surroundings with a grin. Let's see, Cultivator CO asked to meet here. At that moment, his gaze fixates on a point. Ah, there you are. Haha, have you been well, Cultivator CO? You've changed in quite the remarkable way. Russell, High in GWI's gaze lands on the gray desert. From beneath the sand, a ghost king with 18 heads emerges, shaking off the sand. Have you been well, Cultivator Hyan? It's Seoli. I take a deep breath and revert my ghost king transformation back to human form. High in GWI watches this transformation with keen interest. Impressive. Were you perhaps hiding your true strength the last time we met? Well, that curse wasn't something a mere nascent soul stage cultivator could handle. But to think you were a 4-axis stage senior. He bows respectfully, assuming me as a senior. No need for such formalities. After all, I'm merely at the mid 4-axis stage. And I glance at the 3 men in black robes standing behind High in GWI and smile. The ones behind you seem quite formidable as well. Leading such individuals makes you even more impressive, Cultivator Hyan. Behind High in GWI stands 3 cultivators, appearing to be at the grand perfection of heavenly being. But I don't underestimate them just because they are at the heavenly being stage. The 4 symbols nascent soul of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect. I know very well the prowess of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect cultivators from the Human Devil War. The sect's cultivators can use the blood of Hyan Eum within them to wield the power of the immortal beast bloodline, and are masters of techniques that draw external power through the 4 symbols nascent soul method. Mystical scaled fish commanding sect cultivators always borrow power from the outside with that 4 symbols nascent soul, allowing them to leap beyond their stage. The 3 behind him aren't just at the grand perfection heavenly being stage, they are practically at the early 4-axis stage. Moreover, the 7 nascent soul cultivators who follow High in GWI showed no signs of fear or tension even after seeing me. While they paid their respects to me as a 4-axis stage cultivator, their intents didn't convey any true respect or fear. 11 members of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect, including High in GWI, these guys are hiding a lot. I remain vigilant while exchanging greetings with High in GWI, ready to distance myself from their range at any moment. By the way, what were you doing in the sand, Cultivator CO? Ah, this Dead Earth domain is suitable for practicing my method. The Dead Earth domain, composed of gray sand, is a perfect place to practice Great Desert to Dead Sea. While Great Desert to Dead Sea is a spell that turns the surroundings into a desert, it also trains the power of death. The Dead Earth domain, saturated with death, is the perfect place to hone the Great Desert to Dead Sea. Oh, I see. As expected of a 4-axis senior. To seek the path of cultivation even in such a place is admirable. It reassures me greatly. Haha, there's no need for such praise. Laughing together, we take off and fly to the western part of the Dead Earth domain. As expected, the celestial energy in the Chaos Realm is chaotic. I stop using the flying escape technique and start manipulating attraction force instead. I intend to use the ground shrinking technique from now on. How about you and your sect members, Cultivator Hyan? Will you join me? At my question, they exchange glances and nod. High in GWI conveys their decision with a smile. We would be most grateful. Thank you. I use attraction force to bind High in GWI and his sect members, then activate the wealth virtue I had built. Wawoom. A powerful attraction force emerges from the axis, and space begins to fold. I take a step. Pat it. Each step I take with the ground shrinking technique covers 500 li. Our destination is the far western edge of the Dead Earth domain. The celestial energy becomes more chaotic as we move further from the stable realm. In the Chaos Realm, those below the heavenly being stage will find their combat power greatly limited. The bright cold realm is divided into the Chaos Realm Jit and the stable realm, Anjit. The stable realm refers to the land where celestial energy is stable and normal living beings can thrive. In contrast, the chaos realm has celestial energy so twisted it makes it hard for normal living beings to live, and the laws are so twisted it resembles a fiendish place. Generally, the term bright cold realm refers to the stable realm, which is vast beyond measure. Yet, even that is like a speck compared to the chaos realm. Roughly speaking, the entire stable realm is about the size of the solar system on Earth. No, maybe larger. In comparison, the chaos realm might be about the size of a galaxy. Regions like the Heaven-Earth Palace, the Human Race Territory, and the True Dragon Alliance are all within the stable realm, while the rest of the regions are part of the chaos realm. So, it might indeed be that vast. I compare the size of the bright cold realm in my mind. The Heart Tribe territory is said to be quite far even within the chaos realm. I wonder how they managed to live in such a place. It's said the further one moves from the stable realm into the chaos realm, the more the laws distort, making it nearly impossible for life to exist. As I ponder the structure of the bright cold realm, I suddenly have a question and ask Hyen GWI. Come to think of it, Cultivator Hyen, have you never had such thoughts? What thoughts do you mean? They say there is only one stable realm within the immense chaos realm, and most people don't even think about exploring the chaos realm. But couldn't there be other stable realms within the chaos realm? Why doesn't anyone consider exploring it? At my words, Hyen GWI puts on a serious expression. Now that you mention it, that does seem to be the case. I realize that Hyen GWI is pretending to be serious outwardly, but is actually mocking me inwardly. Is this common knowledge? Come to think of it, other middle realms also only have one stable realm. And the information that there is only one stable realm comes from the star-shattering esteemed ones and the sacred vessel sacred masters. Perhaps these great figures are hiding some secret. This guy, he's running his mouth as if revealing a great secret to me, yet his intent showing that he's belittling and mocking me grows stronger. I glance at the other members of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect. Those guys aren't like that. Perhaps there's something only Hyen GWI knows. I remain cautious of Hyen GWI as we move towards our destination. About 15 minutes later, we arrive at the edge of the dead Earth domain using the ground shrinking technique. This place is, yes, it's the entrance to Lofty Dragon True Person's storage scroll. And there are guests already here. The entrance we arrive at is a large basin. This place, I look around the basin, trying to discern its true nature. Judging by the remaining water energy, there must have been a celestial pond here before. However, there are no visible spatial rifts or alternate dimensions in sight. I send a question through telepathy to Hyen EUM. Is there really an entrance to the storage scroll here? There are indeed definitely more people who don't know than those who do. But at night, this celestial pond fills with water. And in 3 days, during the black night, of the new moon, that happens once in thousands of years, when all stars lose their light, Lofty Dragon True Person's legacy will reveal itself. There's no need to be impatient. I nod and descend to the ground. Looking around, I see several heavenly being cultivators who had arrived earlier and secured their spots. About 50 cultivators have arrived before us, most of whom are from the demon race, with only about 10 being from the Heaven Tribe. Among them are the lizard men of the Leaf race, whose territory borders closely with the human race, the Spirit Scale race, with green scales on their skin, excelling in clairvoyance and concealment arts, and the Cold Spirit race, which had recently been destroyed by the Mad Lord. Leaf race, Cold Spirit race, Spirit Scale race. The Leaf race are Heaven Tribe members who live watching the reaction of the human race, and the Cold Spirit race had once been friendly with the human race. However, the Spirit Scale race has a history of enmity with the human race after losing a war against them. As I glance at them, they all seem startled and gradually move away from me. Damn, those greedy human race bastards. Bringing a 4-axis stage old monster. As expected of the vicious human race. The ghostly energy emanating from the old monster is terrifying. It's an evil human race devilish cultivator. How many countless living beings must they have devoured to reach that level? They murmur among themselves and move further away from me in clear fear. Well, that's the typical impression of the human race. No need to explain myself. I sigh lightly and sit down cross-legged, starting to cultivate via Great Desert to Dead Sea. Quaduk. Transforming back into an 18-headed ghost king, I refine my ghostly energy with the abundant death energy of the dead Earth domain. Seeing my ghost king transformation, the other races tremble in even greater terror. That crazy human race 4-axis old monster. He has 18 heads mounted on his shoulders. What a vile creature. Let's avoid that old monster at all costs. Those human race bastards are known for eating other races, and now they keep the heads of other cultivators as trophies. Shoo, be quiet. Don't make eye contact. The Heaven tribe shuts their mouths in fear, and the demon race, thinking I can't understand their language, frantically express their fear of me openly. I consider explaining but decide against it, thinking it won't help. We wait at the entrance of the storage scroll for some time. More cultivators arrive, including 3 at the 4-axis stage. Based on the information Hai and GWI gave me, I identify them. Early 4-axis cultivator of the blood shark race from the Earth tribe, Gyo-Yom. Late 4-axis cultivator of the paired wings race from the Heaven tribe, Bek-Wyak. Mid 4-axis cultivator of the tall tree race from the Heaven tribe, Nok-Ju. Please be careful, senior. The blood shark race and paired wings race may not match the human race in combat power, but the tall tree race. I know. I respond to Hai and GWI's telepathic message with a glint in my eye. The tall tree race, Zhengdu. It's the race to which Nok-Gab, the wooden person always kidnapped by the Mad Lord, belonged to. Though they seem weak due to their history of being kidnapped, it's actually because the Mad Lord is an outlier. They are indeed a strong race. If the Earth tribe has 13 major races, the Heaven tribe has 6 major races, which are Tall Tree Race, Zhengju, Paired Wings Race, Biju, Human Race, Renjanju, Fighting Ghost Race, Dogurju, Rotting Owl Race, Fushuju, Fungal Bone Race, Jinhaiju. These races are divided into 3 categories: 2 heads, Garku, 2 difficulties, Garnon, and 2 evils, 2 heads refer to the Tall Tree Race and Paired Wings Race, known for their excellent judgment and symbolism, leading and uniting the Heaven tribe. 2 difficulties refer to the Rotting Owl Race and Fungal Bone Race, known for their unique lifestyles and being the most challenging to deal with among the 6 races. 2 evils refer to the most ferocious and terrifying among the 6 races, the Fighting Ghost Race and Human Race. In particular, the Fighting Ghost Race and the Human Race are so ferocious, cruel, and exceptionally skilled in combat that some even refer to the 2 combined as the Azura Race, Shiluju. Among them, the Tall Tree Race has a high reputation in the Bright Cold Realm for being the race that produced Scared Master Baek-Woon of the Sacred Vessel stage. They have high pride due to producing a sacred master, and that symbolism makes them the Heaven tribe's center, one of the 2 heads. However, rumors suggest that Sacred Master Baek-Woon cares little for her race, punishing them severely if they dare intrude on her heavenly lotus mountain under the pretense of worshipping her. Still, the Tall Tree Race has been a central force of the Heaven tribe since the beginning of the Bright Cold Realm. If they team up with the Paired Wings Race, it will be troublesome. I remain vigilant against the cultivators of the Paired Wings Race and Tall Tree Race. At the same time, I continue to cultivate through Great Desert to Dead Sea while my 18 pairs of eyes blaze with ghost fire, always ready to activate attraction force at a moment's notice. Finally, the time arrives. Is it today? I expel ghost fire from my eyes and gaze at the sky. It's the day of the Black Night, occurring only once in several thousand years, when the stars of the Bright Cold Realm lose their light for a brief period. And coinciding with it, the new moon. As the sun sets, the sky gradually darkens. Simultaneously, as night falls, water begins to fill the basin. I watch the slow but gradually increasing at a surprisingly fast-paced water level of the celestial pond with my illuminating ghost fire. It's almost time. I glance around to keep an eye on the other 4-axis cultivators from the other races. Strangely, unlike when they first arrived, they have moved far away from me, glancing at me nervously while sweating. What's up with them? I tilt my 18 heads, expelling ghost fire from my eyes. In front of the entrance to the storage scroll of Lofty Dragon True Person. There, the most noticeable figure is Xiao Li, who is exuding blue ghost fire from his entire body as he absorbs the energy of the new moon. His terrifying appearance, rumored to have the heads of 17 fellow cultivators mounted on his shoulders, his powerful ghostly energy, and his unique aura built on the Orthodox Axis foundation. Though Xiao Li is unaware, every race present considers him the top priority for caution. Nok-Ju, the 4-axis cultivator of the Tall Tree Race, is already exchanging telepathic messages with Bek-Wyak, the 4-axis cultivator of the Paired Wings Race. Cultivator Bek, once we enter the storage scroll, we must join forces. The human race, along with the Fighting Ghost Race, is notorious for their savage and powerful techniques. We don't know what kind of devilish arts that grotesque human race old monster will show. I agree, Cultivator Nok. If that greedy human race old monster ambushes us, we must counterattack together. The 2 Heaven Tribe 4-axis cultivators form an alliance, and Gyo-Yom, the 4-axis cultivator of the Blood Shark race, sends a telepathic message to all the gathered demon race cultivators. Who knows what the treacherous Heaven Tribe might do? Especially that monstrous human race old monster, rumored to carry the heads of his kin on his shoulders. If we encounter him in the storage scroll, do not approach him alone. Contact me immediately. It seems he has mastered some sinister ghost path method. If caught, you could lose more than your demon core being extracted and turned into an elixir. Even your soul might be enslaved. We must unite against these fearsome heaven tribe old monsters to survive. Around Gyo-Yom, the demon race heavenly being stage cultivators gather tightly. Suddenly, 4 factions emerge around the celestial pond. The human race faction consisting of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect centered on the old monster Seo Li, who has mastered devilish arts. The tall tree race and paired wings race faction, with the mid and late 4-axis stage cultivators. The demon race faction centered on the early 4-axis stage blood shark race cultivator, Gyo-Yom, and a few scattered heaven tribe members who didn't belong to any faction. They all watched the rising water and Seo Li with tension-filled eyes, waiting for the time to come. And the moment finally arrives. Rippling, the celestial pond's water fills the basin completely. Above the celestial pond, a black night devoid of any stars is reflected on the clear water. It's coming. Once we enter the storage scroll, we'll be scattered by spatial storms. I'll take measures to bind us together. High-End GWI, from the mystical scaled fish commanding sect, takes out a talisman and recite an incantation. From his talisman, white ropes emerge, binding the members of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect and Seo Li. The white ropes that briefly bind them soon glows brightly and disappears. The other factions also begin to prepare for the entry into the storage scroll. After a while, a faint moon slowly rises in the black sky reflected on the surface of the celestial pond. Seo Li looks up at the sky as if in wonder, and then back down at the celestial pond. A mysterious moon that appears only on the water's surface. After a while, a faintly glowing ancient palace is drawn on the moon's surface. The door of the ancient palace on the moon then slowly opens. Creak. It's now? Let's go. With High-End GWI's lead, the gathered cultivators all simultaneously jump into the pond, as if on cue. Thus begins the exploration of Lofty Dragon True Person's storage scroll. Pat it. I use attraction force to shield myself from the spatial storms sweeping over me. The white ropes used by High-End GWI emit a faint attraction force, keeping me and the members of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect together. How incredible! Creating an entrance to another dimension within a reflection on the water's surface. I marvel at the wonder, not fully understanding how it was achieved. How long do we push through the spatial storm before we land in a vast desert beyond countless rays of light? This is Dead Earth Domain. As I look around in confusion, High-End GWI, shaking off the dust, speaks next to me. It looks similar, but it's not. This is the land reflected on the moon's surface. In fact, it's not even the moon. This land is an illusion created by the entering Nirvana True Person. It doesn't exist in reality. You say this is an illusion? I pick up some sand from the ground, examining it closely. The texture is incredibly realistic. Even after awakening all my senses, heaven, earth, and heart, it still feels and looks like real sand. High-End GWI smiles faintly. It's the technique of a quasi-immortal. Moreover, Lofty Dragon True Person was once a great net divine immortal who fell to the entering Nirvana stage. It said he was much stronger than other entering Nirvana True Persons. Now let's move on. We need to find the ancient palace we saw earlier to truly enter the storage scroll. High-End GWI points to the sky. There are many ways to escape an illusion formation like this, but the most orthodox are 2. Either put yourself in a false state of death to find a flaw in the illusion and exploit it, or read the constellations. Any illusion with a sky can't exclude the constellations, so interpreting the path of the stars is the best way. I look up at the sky. However, the sky here is just like the sky in the Dead Earth Domain before entering this place, a black night with no stars visible. As if sensing my confusion, he continues. Senior, read the celestial energy. Celestial energy? Oh, my eyes light up. Indeed, while there are no visible stars, I can read the celestial energy. By tracing the celestial energy, I can interpret the attraction force and deduce the constellations even without visible starlight. Perhaps even the Earth tribe can interpret the attraction force through the flow of heaven and earth spiritual energy, even if they can't read celestial energy. The method is simple, but the idea is not. It's a method that would be hard to think of unless one is a very experienced cultivator. Feeling an inexplicable depth from High-End GWI, I heighten my vigilance towards him. Reading the constellations, I follow High-End GWI's guidance and fly through the desert. Before long, we arrive at a place that seems to be the center of the desert, based on the constellations. The end of the ladle star points here. Let's proceed a bit further. High-End GWI skillfully reads the constellations and leads us, and soon I feel a sensation like passing through a veil. Hot. Suddenly, we find ourselves in front of a grand ancient palace where there had been nothing but desert. It seems we are the first to arrive. Let's go in. GWI smiles and walks towards the entrance of the ancient palace. I look up at the plaque above the entrance of the ancient palace. The inscription reads, Scroll of Lofty Dragon True Person, the Envoy of Health and Care. Care refers to taking care and supporting one's parents. The Envoy of Health and Care? It's an interesting title. But my eyes shine as I focus on the health part associated the True Orthodox Axis Foundation. Could this be related to an axis? Given the ritual worship scripture of wealth virtue from GWI was obtained here, it seems likely. Step. As we enter the palace, we feel a twist in space, and we are suddenly in a vast river. Under a clear sky, a clear river flows, and spiritual creatures resembling fish leisurely swim everywhere. The river is incredibly wide, and beyond it, another river stretches endlessly. But I sense something wrong. It's hot. The scene is incredibly peaceful. However, instead of a cool river breeze, there's a sweltering heat that instinctively strikes the soul. GWI looks around and hands me a talisman. The other world of Lofty Dragon True Person consists of 4 layers, excluding the outer illusion. The first layer is the water flow layer, Feng. The second is the Dao departure layer, Dao Qi. The third is the care layer, Feng. And the fourth is the Xieji worship layer, Zhiji. Originally, it said that the water flow layer, where we stand, used to be as vast as the sea due to the dense water energy, just like the scene before us. But it was completely transformed when Lofty Dragon True Person fought a certain entity from the True Devil realm. Try using the talisman. When I activate the talisman given by GWI, I feel a boiling sensation in my blood and sense Taiji embedding itself in my eyes. Simultaneously, a scene opposite to the peaceful view before me unfolds. Wereruruk. Bright red flames are blazing everywhere. The river that had been flowing just moments ago is now completely dried up, and instead, living flames flow like lava in its place. The sky is not clear but filled with black smoke, and a pungent odor naturally stimulates my sense of smell. I'm startled by the illusion that even my heaven, earth, and heart senses couldn't detect, and once again, I am impressed by GWI's ability to penetrate this illusion with just a talisman. What is this talisman? It's nothing special. It's a talisman that temporarily grants the power of an immortal beast bloodline to the user. It focuses the principle of Taiji in the eyes to temporarily open a spiritual eye. It's a minor trick that anyone with an immortal beast bloodline can perform. It's just that only those who know about it. Looking around, all the members of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect have drawn out their black dragon true blood, revealing Taiji in their eyes. It's similar to Han1's. Han1's spiritual eye also felt similar to theirs, excluding the surveillance, Jan, aspect. Does Han1 also have some immortal beast bloodline? I ponder this while exuding a cold aura around me. Chi. The surrounding flames briefly subside due to the ghostly energy I emit. Thank you, Senior. Now, let me explain our objective. For us, the mystical scaled fish commanding sect, to escape from Haiyan Ium's grasp, we need the heavenly lotus fruit and the recognizing Sintengwa, drawn personally by Lofty Dragon True Person in the 3rd care layer. However, just reaching the care layer is an immense challenge on its own, and as you can see, these flames grow stronger as we move up. Especially at the passage to the 3rd layer, there is a living flame called the Calamity Flame, Jan. He continues, Calamity Flame is a life form born from a disaster in the form of flames. It's said to be a powerful curse born from the malice and hatred of the entity from the True Devil realm who once fought Lofty Dragon True Person. Senior, if you can suppress the Calamity Flame with your curse techniques, we will extinguish it with our spells. Is suppressing the Calamity Flame my task? Yes, it is. Although there are quite a few curses left in the 3rd layer, requiring some effort from Senior's end, the main task is suppressing the Calamity Flame. Understood. I'll give it a try. We begin to make our way through the river of flames. In front of the grand ancient palace, the true entrance to the storage scroll, one by one, others begin to gather at the place where Co Li and GWI's group had passed. The Heaven Tribe's 4-axis stage cultivators, Nok Ju and Baek Wyack, are the first to arrive and survey the surroundings. It seems we're the first to arrive. Indeed, the Earth Tribe can't read celestial energy directly, so it will take them a while, and the other Heavenly Tribe members don't know how to read constellations, so they are probably going in and out of a coma. Baek Wyack snickers, mocking the others. Nok Ju of the Tall Tree race crosses his arms and laughs. Only the Heaven Tribe's 2 heads, our Tall Tree race and your Paired Wings race, and only those of noble bloodlines within the 2 races have learned this method. Who else would arrive as quickly? Most wouldn't even know how to interpret the constellations of this formation. Haha, of course. Fortunately, that terrifying human race old monster hasn't arrived yet, so let's hurry inside. With the ghost path method he mastered, he will probably enter false death quickly, find a flaw, and come this way. Indeed. Let's go quickly. Soon after the two 4-axis stage cultivators enter, Gyo-Yom and the demon race arrive at the front of the grand ancient palace. Most of the demon race appear pale and injured, with visible bloodstains. Now then, let's go in quickly. We need to secure the artifacts inside. At the Gyo-Yom's command, the demon race members groan. Elder, we apologize, but many of us are severely weakened from repeatedly entering and exiting false death. Please allow us a half-day's rest before we proceed. Yes, Elder. We've all entered false death as you've commanded, so if you can give us a little time. Hearing this, Gyo-Yom's eyes emit a bright red blood flame. You rebellious brats, are you blaming me? No, that's not what we meant. Silence. Didn't I already say it? For our Earth tribe to survive against those treacherous Heaven tribe old monsters, we must unite. The fact that you're trying to disrupt our unity to make us fall to the Heaven tribe shows you're a spy from the Heart tribe. No, Elder. That's not what. Die Heart tribe spy. Crack. Bang. With one move from Gyo-Yom, the two protesting demons are instantly reduced to mere chunks of flesh. Terrified by his ferocious demeanor, the demon race falls silent and cowers. Gyo-Yom bares his sharp teeth, characteristic of the blood shark race, and growls. From now on, anyone who disrupts our unity will be considered a Heart tribe spy and executed immediately. This is for the protection of our Earth tribe from the Heaven tribe old monsters, so understand this great cause. Do you understand? Yes, Elder. The demon race's reply echoes, mixed with fear. Satisfied, Gyo-Yom leads the demon race into the ancient palace. Other Heaven tribe members, including the Leaf race, Cold Spirit race, and Spirit Scale race, arrived at the location half a day later. Chi-Yi. As I cool the surrounding heat with the cold energy emanating from my ghostly energy, I walk at the forefront with High GWI. Around us, the heavenly being stage cultivators of the mystical scaled fish commanding sect use the Black Dragon True Blood to cool the heat with their Yin energy. However, the flames and heat flowing throughout the water flow layer shows no signs of abating, and as we cool the heat and move forward, the flames immediately fill the space we pass through. The mystical scaled fish commanding sect cultivators seem unsatisfied with just that and lay numerous traps in their wake as they advance. I understand now why the human race is called greedy and ruthless. The other cultivators of different races following behind us will not only have to endure the heat of the water flow layer, but also navigate the traps set by the mystical scaled fish commanding sect, which will undoubtedly make them bleed. I consider asking what kind of traps they are, but decide it isn't necessary for me to know and ignore it. The entire water flow layer is under some restriction, making it difficult to use the flying escape technique or to fly through attraction force, forcing us to walk. I'm curious about how the other races will react after stepping on those traps. Keek. Burning amorphous monsters lunge at us from all directions, spitting flames. They're called fire corpses, Wushu. They are said to be ancient demonic beasts, but in reality, they are pieces of lofty dragon true person's flesh. I've seen something like this before. Haha, the fierce beast guarding the entrance to the sect you saw before, was created by studying these fire corpses. Most of the vestiges, to sure, floating around the interdimensional void are of little use, but these fire corpses. Hook. High GWI waves his hand, bursting a fire corpse. The fire corpse screams and dissipates. They're very different from the vestiges in the interdimensional void. Those didn't die even after subduing them multiple times. It seems the Yin energy from High GWI's immortal beast bloodline makes them easy to subdue. Yin energy is definitely their weakness. Then, I notice something in the center of the dissipated fire corpse. Chi-Yi. The dead fire corpse left behind something like a small cloud. Before the cloud evaporates into the surrounding smoke, High GWI quickly retrieves a gourd dharma treasure from his storage scroll and opens its lid, bringing it close to the cloud. Shurik. The cloud is compressed into a small drop of liquid and sucked into the bottle. High GWI explains after absorbing the cloud. These fire corpses here contain the primal force of water that the water flow layer originally held. We call this power, that was contaminated from the entity from the true devil realm, turbid devil liquid. Although it's tainted with devilish energy, demonic energy, and turbid energy, it's the best material for devilish cultivators. Our buy was also made by injecting this turbid devil liquid. He smiles and offers me the bottle. Would you like to try it? It's rumored to grant special abilities to cultivators who practice devilish arts. I'll pass. It doesn't seem to suit my method. Sensing the malicious intent and turbid energy within the liquid, I decline. Even though it might be beneficial for devilish arts, recklessly absorbing such contaminated liquid could cause mental issues. At my refusal, High GWI smiles again and says, Then we'll take this turbid devil liquid for the mystical scaled fish commanding sect. Is that all right? Do as you wish. We continue advancing, killing fire corpses, and collecting turbid devil liquid as we go. This is Lofty Dragon True Person Storage Scroll, but is there nothing like artifacts around? Haha, the water flow layer is like the Peach Garden painting, originally a place where Lofty Dragon True Person raised their subordinates and pet races. Now, all that's left are the remains of spiritual creatures and the pet races, consumed by the fire corpses and reduced to ashes. However, as we follow high in GWI through the water flow layer, we eventually reach a large basin-like area. The entire basin is engulfed in flames, with several collapsed stone buildings visible inside. In the dwellings of Lofty Dragon True Person's pet races, there are still the artifacts and spiritual medicines they used. When we investigated last time, we found that this place was where the fighting ghost race was domesticated and raised. We enter the stone buildings. Inside, the flames are not burning, and it's quite cool. The formations set up in various places seem to be preventing the flames from invading. We searched this place once before, but there might be something we missed. Let's search thoroughly. At high-end GWI's command, the mystical scaled fish commanding sect cultivators scatter to search the stone buildings, and I also begin to look around separately. However, it seems true that they had searched this place before, as there isn't much to find. There's nothing that really catches my eye. Then it happens. I suddenly notice strange cracks in various parts of the stone building. What is this? Cracks? Gaps? Just natural aging and splitting? However, I realize there's some pattern to these cracks. I approach a cultivator from the mystical scaled fish commanding sect who's scratching and searching the interior of a room that looks like a bedroom. Hey, do you know what these cracks are? Maybe some kind of formation or something. They seem to have a bit of a pattern. Are you referring to that? We don't know much about it either. We've tried flowing spiritual energy through them and drawing formations according to the gaps, but it was hard to discover anything. I feel it's just the last desperate act of some fighting ghost race who lived here. I see. Judging by his intent, he genuinely didn't seem to know what they were. Following the lines, I see that these lines are etched throughout the entire stone building. What in the world is this? I can't make sense of it no matter how much I look. I reach out to one of the lines, attempting to connect it with another. That's when it happens. Wait. Chi. I immediately dispel my Ghost King transformation and revert to my human form. These lines. TSC. I gather ghostly energy, creating a ghost sword. Then, I begin to move the sword's tip along the lines. The structure of the stone building and the layout of the lines are already etched in my mind. I stop moving the sword and instead create a gang sphere. Focusing my consciousness, I move the gang sphere along the corridors of the stone building. I see it's a sword formation, Janjun. The traces of a sword formation utilizing flying swords. However, I can tell that this sword formation, like Hong Surayong's, is in harmony with the enlightenment of martial arts. No, it's beyond martial arts. This is Heart Tribe. The fighting ghost race who used this stone building was undoubtedly from the Heart Tribe. I wander through the stone building with the consciousness avatar made of gang sphere, envisioning myself executing the sword formation. Swords intertwine. The swords twist together, forming a formation, entangling the path and dominating the space. Interestingly, this sword formation is specialized for confined, narrow spaces. It's designed to be used in corridors and rooms. In my mind, I imagine the power of this sword formation when deployed. I can see the entire corridor, each room, being engulfed in a storm of light. Anyone entering this building would never easily escape. They would be swept away and shredded by the storm of light formed by the swords. The sword energy would collide with the walls and bounce back. It would split in the void, reflect, and amplify. I feel the flow of intent within this sword formation. ZDZT. It seems like something is about to be deciphered. Whoever left this sword formation was trying to convey some message through the flow of intent created by this formation. But I can't read that message. Damn it. Why can't I understand? I still possess the vision of the tribulating heavens. Yet it isn't enough. I mutter in frustration, and somehow, a sense of injustice and anger wells up inside me, causing a tear to fall without my knowing. A sword mountain made of glass. At the peak, a man in white half opens his eyes. Suruwang. Sword energy surges around him. His sword energy is astonishingly identical to the sword energy of the sword formation Seo Li had seen. The man in white, Seo Eunhyun, slowly lifts his head to look at the sword formation. Although it's a sword formation, to Seo Eunhyun's eyes, it appears entirely different. It manifests as a muscular old man with a pinky-sized horn on his head. A successor, I don't know when it will be, but if you see me, it means a Heart Tribe member of my level has been born again. The sword formation unfolds following Seo Eunhyun's will. Simultaneously, the old man continues his message. Although the fighting ghost race's lineage will continue thanks to the true person's grace despite the invasion of the fallen judge, our heart tribe. That's right, our skill, Jeek. I don't know what you may call it, but our soul, will undergo repeated cycles of rise and fall, and our lineage will eventually be severed. Words that are hard to understand. However, Seo Eunhyun understands. Martial arts, or what some may call fighting spirit, Dogon. Seo Eunhyun interprets the old man's words as referring to martial arts. The old man was worried about the cessation of martial arts. Although I didn't know, according to the true person, the rise and fall of martial arts has been repeating for a long time. When a catalyst appears, Heart Tribe members spring up like bamboo shoots. When the catalyst disappears, they vanish one by one, declining. Hence, the Heart Tribe never obtains successors and quickly declines. And now, I realize the catalyst is disappearing. The old man's expression turns bitter. The power of the Heart Tribe, from its foundation, has been blocked at some point. It's no longer possible to use fighting steps. From the first step, to the second step, the third step, and even the fourth step reached after a lifetime. The old man's voice grows melancholic. However, despite his sadness, his eyes remain undimmed. A successor, you might pity me, and perhaps fear that this might happen to you. But successor, do you understand why I left this sword formation? The melancholic voice gradually fades, and his eyes become even more bright. The Heart Tribe's power, martial arts, It's not a power borrowed from anyone else. Just because the roots are blocked doesn't mean everything I've dedicated my life to for martial arts disappears. At first, the old man seems like an illusion separate from the sword formation, but gradually, he begins to merge with it. Even if the Heart Tribe declines, my martial arts will not die, even if the heavens do not permit it. Sut. The old man melts into the sword formation. He becomes the sword formation. Our will shall never die? Good. Seo Eunhyun calmly leaps towards the sword formation. Though it's a formation definitely created by Seo Eunhyun's own hand, it charges at him as if it has a will of its own. Seo Eunhyun and the sword formation collide. The sword formation shatters upon impact with Seo Eunhyun. However, the sword intent, Janyit, within the formation seeps into the glass sword mountain. I close my eyes and pay respects to a giant of the previous era. Yang Sujin had once said, "The Heart Tribe is proof that we are all slaves to fate and non-humans. They appear only when the enders appear and disappear when the enders disappear." If that's true, do the Heart Tribe lose their power after the enders are gone? Can they no longer reflect their heart essence? Perhaps, but I take the old man's words to heart. Our will shall never die. Even after the enders disappeared, he remained a proud and dignified martial artist, who honed martial arts. Even if it was not called martial arts, but another name, it proved that a person's will, a person's heart does not simply end. The Heart Tribe are slaves to fate? What nonsense. No one in this world is a slave to fate. Only people living their lives exist in this world. So, Seo Huiol, you won't be able to enslave my heart forever. I look up at the sky and mutter towards Seo Huiol, who is still babbling this and that to himself while struggling hard. Wait for me. I will soon break free. Translator notes. Here we have it. The very first treasure/legacy hunting arc that's a staple in Xinxia. Chunky chapters to come.